Welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast, where free bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Condor with a K. I'm joined by my regular co-host, Mr.
Ben Errington.
And Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner.
And today we have a very special guest, a Rotten Tomatoes approved critic, a TV film journalist with What to Watch, and host of the TV Time podcast. Hello, Lucy Buglass. Did I get it right?
Hello, yes, you did. Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you for checking my name, pronunciation even. Yes.
You told me like seconds
I get a lot
before,
of random pronunciations. It's, it happens.
We discussed it seconds before, and I think that threw you off. Did it throw you off?
I panicked because I thought if I got it. I was like, if I get it wrong now, literally just a second after I've been told it, like an absolute
right,
idiot.
Start again. Jesus. There we go.
Honestly.
Welcome,
right.
Lucy. Thanks for joining us. How exciting.
Oh no, anytime. Yeah, pleasure.
The first Rotten Tomatoes approved critic on the show, right?
How did you do that? What did you do?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I just sort of applied. I mean, I had my blog for a bit, which it was Lucy Goes to Hollywood. I've now shut it down because I'm just too busy in other realms. And then I kind of went on to write for a bunch of other websites. And as a result of my sort of accumulated portfolio, they thought I was good enough to approve. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm very grateful for it. But, I consider myself very lucky. Because not a lot of people, well, I mean, obviously there are people on there, but some people get rejected and I feel really bad about it, but I somehow got it. I'll take it.
You are a better person all around than those people, than those idiots.
Than those bloody idiots.
What I heard is that all those people that weren't approved, they can suck it, I heard.
Word on the grapevine, because they could suck it.
It's a nice to have, but I try not to brag too much. I'm not that kind of person. So.
But no look behind it. I've read your reviews. I know you spend a lot of time on them. So yeah, great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I enjoy what I do. I really hate writing negative reviews, which means the Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't go down very well, as in the new one.
Oh, we could probably touch on that. We've all watched it, right?
Yeah, I dislike a bad review, but it has to be done sometimes. I try to be fair.
Yeah. You've got to knock a bad review out occasionally. I think you got to get out your system, Especially when the film makes you super angry. Just have a big old rant about it. Don't be horrible to any one individual. Don't be nasty to any individual people, but fuck their film off. Fuck their film off.
Don't get into Twitter beef with the director of Doom Annihilation, no matter what.
No,
I'd say
what hasn't happened, and I hope it never does. Really awkward.
It's happened to one of us here.
It happened to Ben.
I'd say A, Twitter beef doesn't count if it was like 3 tweets. B, I backtrack like a motherfucker. I went, oh, that was great, actually. Oh, I really liked it.
1 star, only 3 types of demon. Ben Errington, there were 4 demons, actually. So sorry if you...
That's what he said. I did apologize, though, but then I DM'd him some threats. No, I didn't. I wouldn't do that.
If you ever make another Doom film again...
If you ever make another Doom film again with 5 demons in it, I'll come over there and I'll poke your eyes out, all right? And he didn't respond, so I take that as he understood what I meant.
He went into his message request. He hasn't seen it.
He'll see it one day.
One
day soon. He's coming for me. Okay, so horror news this week. We've got a few bits and bobs. Number 1 is that Stranger Things 4 is apparently going to premiere in May with the first of 2 parts. It feels like Stranger Things 4 has been coming up for at least 10 years, what it feels like. It's been
CC though, because COVID.
Oh yeah, because COVID. But I think I saw recently that the first trailer came out in 2020. So now we're basically the kids. How old are the kids now? Mid-30s?
Yeah.
Joking.
It's going to be a charged one as well, right? I'm sure they're watching this closely now, because aren't they doing quite a lot in Russia in this upcoming series?
Oh God, yeah.
Close to the bone with not to make it political, but yeah, it's a bit.
Didn't even think that. Maybe everything that's going on in Russia is just like promotion.
Promo. Yeah.
Promo, yeah.
Those kids will be there with Vladimir this week saying, "Oh, thanks,
Flash
guys."
mob.
Yeah.
Flash mob has invaded Ukraine.
It was all a ruse. The upside down. Oh, come on. So
If
volume one
only.
is, if only, yeah. But volume one is premiering on the 27th of May. Volume two will arrive in
Chop it in
22nd. So
half.
they've chopped it in half, two parts.
Let's do this.
And
They've done the Wars arc recently as well. I don't know why. It's like
Ah.
just do it in two parts. You're like, all right. And Money Heist. They did it with Money Heist, and I'm just like, guys, why?
Is it because it's the thing that it isn't? Like, from what I've seen of the narrative, lots of people are talking right now saying, "Oh, Netflix should start doing weekly drops instead of just dumping a whole series on us, because actually it means that people talk about it for longer rather than it just being a drop in the ocean and gone." So what will happen is, I imagine, in the cycle of the world, Netflix will eventually get on board with doing, series coming out a week on week thing. And then we'll all get to complain about, oh, do you remember the good old days when a series used to just come out and you could binge it, and that was a thing?
I do like the event of like a new episode dropping every week, because I think it seems to have done well for like the Disney Plus series. That that there's sort of like a big swell around each new episode arriving. There's something about it, yeah. For some things it would work better than others, I think. But
what happens with the Disney Plus series is that with the exception of a couple, I think I did WandaVision week on week, but as a rule, I end up not getting around to them until I finished and then just watching them all in one go anyway, so it's pointless after it's been spoiled for me with people doing their out of context spoilers, and it's like, if you're not completely brain dead, you can work out what that is. It isn't spoiler free at all.
Also, they start the tweet with spoiler, and then like 2 sentences down it'll have the spoiler. But I'm like, that's the way I'm scrolling.
Yeah, I scroll Twitter down to up. I'm like, I've read something which out of context would be, oh, what does that mean? Oh, it's a spoiler for a thing. No, like, great, thanks.
Oh dear.
The world's horrible.
The world's a shitter. So apparently this is twice the length of previous seasons. So,
so
two seasons in one. Just make it 2 seasons. Come on.
Yeah.
Volume 1, Volume 2, all that stuff.
They announced they're finishing it with the next season, so they're doing one more after this, and then that's it, right?
Yeah, I think they said that season 5 will be the end.
Yeah,
the end. There we go. Sticking with TV, I guess this is more like horror adjacent. It's not straight up horror, but Lucy was tweeting about it, and she was also playing one of the games in the series. Fallout, the TV series, has just cast Walton Goggins. I was going to say Walton Coggins.
Wally Goggs.
Wally Goggs will star in the Amazon TV show, the Fallout TV show, and he's going to be playing a ghoul, which is very exciting for the lead role to be someone with skin problems, I guess.
I wasn't sure how they would do this, because like, have you guys played the games? Are you vaguely familiar? Or you great? Okay. So you know how like you kind of design your own character, and it's like a vault dweller and that kind of thing. Obviously, there's a lot of custom kind of things you can do, like traits and whatever. And I was like, how are they going to do this? But when they were like, we're going to make him a ghoul, I'm like, oh my god, brilliant! That's a great idea. You know, I mean, I was expecting just going down the vault dweller route, but hey, man, I'm excited for this. It's gonna be great. I hope.
Yeah.
Are you a big Fallout fan, Lucy?
Love it. So it's my favorite game series. I'm a little bit obsessed, to be honest.
Which one is your favorite in the out of the games?
Oh, probably New Vegas. I reckon, because it's so out there and wacky. Like 3, I've done a replay of 3 recently, and I'm in the middle of doing that. And I love the grittiness. I love obviously Liam Neeson. I love that element to it. But like, New Vegas is incredibly wacky and out there, and it's got, it's more bonkers. Do you know what I mean? It's just more like, it's more chaos, and I think it's just a lot of fun. And there's a lot of like really cool side quests and stuff. So yeah, New Vegas is the one.
And as a big fan, what would you like to see from a series? Would like a contained story? Would you like a mix, like a bit of a different story every week, or something that has like a through?
Imagine
story?
Like an anthology set in there.
That'd be cool.
An anthology would be a really good shout, because the universe is so big and there's so many side quests and characters and like divisions and whatever. It would be cool to focus on different ones at different points, I guess. But I wouldn't mind a continuous story either, where they kind of dip in and out of different factions and stuff. That would be obviously they've got to kind of people like the Brotherhood of Steel are going to have to feature at some point because they're throughout every single game. Big characters like that. It just depends whether they want to bring in like people like Caesar who've only been in like New Vegas, for example. So like I don't quite know what game or games they're going to base it on exactly, or whether it's just going to be a bit more general. But I'm optimistic. I mean, the casting is great so far. So
I hope they use that. The music. It's like on the intro of Fallout 4, like the start menu music. Just some like piano keys playing or something, but it's like just gets you right in the soul straight away.
I've realized with a lot of video game adaptations recently is that they're missing a trick by just not having the original soundtrack
controls.
Or the original soundtrack or like an iteration of the original soundtrack. I feel like it adds so much to engrossing you in that world. If you just have different music in it, I'm going to talk about it, but I'll just use Uncharted as an example. If you have just like a soundtrack which is like iconic, and then for some reason you just have some cookie cutter action adventure music over the top of it, it immediately doesn't feel like Uncharted, and it's just use the music. It's right there. It's right there. The music's right there. What's wrong with you?
I expect with Fallout and BioShock, which I know is a movie, not a series, but I expect because they have licensed music in them rather than pure like BGM. I reckon you'll get the licensed tracks in there.
I think especially with Fallout, like not to get too dorky, but like there's kind of a reason that they're kind of stuck with those kind of old school songs, right? Because it's the only thing they could play in that kind of universe, based on, I think, like the records they had, like they built the ability to play them where they couldn't play like modern music, for example. I can't remember exactly what the reason is, but they kind of need to keep it's an integral part of it. So if there's not like, I can't even think, I don't know, like all these iconic sort of old school bands, then I'll be sad, like all the jazz music and that. I need that,
like all like the Ink Spot stuff and everything.
The Ink Spots, exactly. We need people like that, otherwise I'll be pissed.
I reckon they'll do it. I think they've got such. I think the strongest thing about the Fallout games, as you say, that the world is so diverse, and I think anyone who's producing this series will probably trying to avoid just straight lining and doing the exact same story of one of the games.
Yeah,
I expect they'll probably take the huge universe they've got and they'll just really drive the series from being the aesthetic. But we're about to enter an era of like video game adaptations, like go out the wazoo, right? Because we've got
Cuphead. There's a Cuphead TV show at the minute.
I've watched some of it. Right. So there's Cuphead now. We're about to get Fallout and BioShock.
We're doing Halo. We're doing Halo.
Halo looks great. Sonic has already been announced for a third one plus a series. So
I think there's something Assassin's Creed shaped on Netflix.
Oh, that's Assassin's Creed. They haven't really done a good job of that yet. Hot take.
No.
It hasn't been great.
I mean, no, they definitely haven't. Yeah, that's exciting though. I like it. We're lucky as game fans, and we're lucky that we get adaptations of all this stuff, like with decent budgets as well.
Yeah,
because Amazon and Netflix. So looking forward to it. The only other piece of news I've got is that John Carpenter this week expressed an interest in a sequel to 1982's The Thing. Now, I guess take this with a pinch of salt. This is just an interview that he did on THR, possibly. He said, I would like to do a sequel to The Thing or a continuation, something like that. But then obviously went on to say there's a lot of reasons why he wouldn't do it. But what would a sequel to The Thing look like? Where would it be?
The Thing Tropical Freeze.
The Thing.
The Things. I mean, you can't get better than that, right?
I'll put the S as a dollar sign.
Get the S as a dollar sign on there. James Cameron, get it done. I mean, the obvious thing would be put a thing in a city, right? Put a thing in New York.
I don't know, because I'm not sure you get the claustrophobia, because it's the thing. It'd get people straight away. I'm not sure how you could beat the Thing.
You can't do the same thing again. It could be the same thing again, because they did the.
You can't do the same thing again. We can't. Let's do The Thing in the future in space.
Yeah, the space thing.
The space
thing.
X. That's what.
Yeah.
The Thing X. Yeah. I mean, I'm all up for seeing more of it and to see John Carpenter do it as well, because he's not done a film since the
Ward.
The
Ward
one.
Yeah.
So come on. Let's make this happen. I'll be very interested in seeing.
I don't know if he'll do any more films. He seems to me like he's just too comfortable playing games, playing Fallout. And what's the game he plays a lot? Far Cry. That's it.
Does he play Far
Talking
Cry?
about-
Does he?
Yeah,
He's a
talks about Far
fan.
Cry and about Eli Roth's Hollywood hair.
You can enjoy doing those things. He still scores a lot of the movies that play
Yeah,
on
but I
his
think there's a
legacy.
difference between that and making a movie from it seems like it'd be a big effort.
He just do the
for
bit.
him.
He
Huge
just do the bit that he
undertaking,
really
yeah.
likes. Do the bit that he really enjoys doing.
Outsource the rest. Go on
Yeah.
Upwork.com. Get someone else to do all the filming and acting and bits.
I think a sequel to The Thing is something that I feel I absolutely do not need. But if it came out, I would go and see it tomorrow.
This could be something we do on the pitch sequel.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Things. That's what it needs to do.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Things. Who would be Splinter?
Sphincter. Oh, that sounds like Sphincter.
Sphincter.
Yeah.
John
You have to
Carpenter
workshop
himself.
that.
Yeah, we'll workshop that. That is it for horror news. Has anybody seen anything of note this week? I guess we've already mentioned it, so we might as well have a brief chat with no spoilers about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think we're going to do a bonus episode on this at some point soon, so we'll keep our thoughts brief. But we'll start with Lucy because she said
Okay.
it was a pile of steaming.
Well, okay. I gave it 2.5 stars in my official review.
Out of
I thought
3.
the guy
Out of 100.
was good. I liked him. The victims were dull and boring. I didn't care about them. Tedious to watch, really. Not a lot of character. I mean, look, I know people aren't really watching it for character development, and they just want to see people get like sawn in half. I totally get that, right? But you know, you want to at least feel some sort of, you want to root for somebody in a horror film to some extent, right? Especially in a slasher, like something like Scream, which I love. Like, you know, you have the characters you love and you have the characters you hate, and everyone was so boring. I didn't care about any of them or any of their goals or desires, and I was just sat there like. Nah. And so even when they die, I just sort of felt like, oh, okay, you know, like, you know, obviously I'm not going to say who does, but like when people get killed off, I was like, right, I just didn't really have any kind of connection.
Nobody dies. That's why it's controversial. No one dies. No,
There's
everyone
no
dies.
massacre at all.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, obviously there are some little deaths, but yeah, it's a bit shit, really. I'm not gonna lie.
It seems to have like divided a lot of people. Like I said to
Especially
Andy,
the
this is
victims. Straight down the middle.
they've been divided. But like horror fans, I guess a lot of people, I would assume, oh, they're gonna hate this, seem to love it, and a lot of people I thought maybe would love it, seem to hate it. So it's definitely split a lot of people, and I think it is quite a divisive film because it depends what you're going into that sort of film and expecting. Because
I was saying to Ben, we were talking the other day, I'm not sure if it's done cynically or otherwise. I think in terms of a film, it's fine. Like I think the most offensive thing about the films itself is that it doesn't do the most or the least of anything. Perfectly like capably made, like the kills are perfectly well delivered, but it didn't, like, I'm not sure I'm going to remember many of the details in a week's time. I think the thing that gets me, and I'm not sure if it's deliberate and it just missed the mark for me personally, or if it's done cynically, in which case it should be something that winds you up, but it feels like it's trying to push its ongoing marketing with very deliberately targeting culture wars that exist today as well, because it's got things that people will talk about and tweet about, which is why, looking at the reviews, I think it was less than the first half of the day it was out that I actually saw reviews of the film. And after that, it devolved into people talking about how other people express opinions, and actually talking about the film had been lost. And the narrative is very much, there are things very skillfully put into it that mean that you're one side of the political, and, you know, typically it's a generational and age divide as well, will say, look at these old school characters, and this is what they think, and if you don't like this, it's because you don't like a straight up horror movie, and these, you know, these soft kids getting all done in by this old thing. And then the other side of it, it's also courting the idea of, realistically, and this is in the trailer, so no spoilers, when a chainsaw man comes in, do we really live in a generation where people will immediately get their phones out and start filming him and say you're going to be cancelled if you chainsaw as Mr. Chainsaw Man? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of, it's
you know what it's
almost deliberately caught in that controversy, right? But Lucy, sorry, I dived in on you.
Sorry, no, I was just agreeing with you. Like, it doesn't really know quite what it's trying to say in terms of its messaging. And I think, it was like you say, it just makes kind of fleeting references to like millennial culture or Gen Z culture. And I think at one point, one character briefly mentions like the Confederate flag, and then they just ignore it for the rest of the film. And I'm just like, okay. And like, you can't just make these references then go, oh, okay, we're done now. It could have gone really hard, and it just didn't. It just sort of coasted along, and I was like, I kind of like clock watching, and that's not what I like doing in a film, obviously. So
I understand the discourse, and I completely understand where everybody's coming from this. I think in terms of franchise, Texas Chainsaw Massacre has always been one of those I'm not really that bothered about. I like the original, and I like the remake, 2003 remake.
Do you like the remake? It's all
Is that
right.
the
I like the
Jessica
remake,
Biel one?
Jessica Biel, yeah. But I think I think I've seen them all. I think every other installment has always been pretty lame. I didn't enjoy 2, 3. Is it the next generation, new generation?
It's quite disparate as well, though, right? It's not. I'm not sure how well they are all connected. It makes Friday the 13th look coherent.
Yeah, and I just think of, in terms of new horror movies, I think something to stand it up against would be Halloween Kills and Scream. That obviously the latest Scream. I would say out of all 3 of them, I preferred this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, maybe because of my expectations of the franchise. Like, I wanted
preferred this to Scream.
Yep.
Oh.
I think I feel like I expected something of those 2 franchises, Halloween Kills and Scream, and because of that, I was left majorly disappointed. But because I didn't really have any expectations of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I went in and just enjoyed it for what it was. And I saw someone describe it as like a shark attack movie on land, and I kind of thought, yeah, why not? There's not much going on, but I think because of Halloween Kills being like the central part of a trilogy, and I thought it just shat the bed in terms of trying to introduce all these minor legacy characters. And Scream, I felt like it felt a bit like a Scream 4. I felt like it didn't do much in terms of what Scream 4 did for me. I feel like the motives of the killers were similar. But with this, I kind of just went, yeah, I like it. And I'll tell you what I did like. I agree with you, Lucy, with some of the characters were pretty much bland as balls, if that's the saying. Bland as balls. I quite liked the fact that one character had survived a school shooting. I'm not sure if that's been done before. I mean, it may have been done in a horror. The fact that she had this sort of trauma and was sort of, I just kept thinking, what a load of bad luck she's had.
I feel like there's that and another couple of ideas that you could have just had 1 or 2 of them and given them a little bit more space rather than a fleeting mention.
There's a kind of relationship between 2 people that I would have thought they should have played on that a bit more. That'd be quite interesting. Like 2 people from other sides of the.
I just feel like it seems to hold. I mean, we're still doing the killer is a superhuman, the Michael Myers thing. Where is it almost like supernatural?
Because if we worked out the age of him, right? Because I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. In the late 70s, he was 30 if he was a day then.
Yeah, and in this, it's 50 years later. So he's like, are you supposed to believe that he's 80 years old? I mean, we do see him without his mask. I mean, not dead on and not in a really clear way, but he's not 80, is he?
Maybe he was just a little boy who'd had a very hard life earlier on. He was 16 in the first one.
God, Jesus Christ!
He was the Texas work experience kid before there was a massacre.
But we've already seen obviously in Leatherface, in 2017's Leatherface, we see him as like a prequel, and he's just like is he like a skinny little kid? No,
bulked up, carrying that chainsaw about.
Bulked up, mate. That chainsaw, carrying that around, swapping over it, just doing loads of reps of that. Yeah. So I don't know. I think when we do a bonus episode and we chat about it in greater stead. I mean, it's only been a couple of days since I've seen it. It might be one of those where you think back to it and you think, I was just in a good mood.
I just had a Ribena.
You ever seen Night Watch? It's like a Russian
Yeah.
vampire thing.
And they watch.
Yeah.
Took
Like
me
what?
about 6 months to decide whether it was good or bad. Came out and I was like, that's either brilliant or absolute shit, but I don't know which one.
You know what? That's how I feel with Titano, however you say it. Like, I've seen it and I was like, I think I liked it, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit of a weird film. Like, you know what I mean? Like those films where you come out of it and you're like, not sure. I think I need to give it another go. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I tell you a film that I watched. I think most of you guys probably should have watched if you haven't watched it already. It was Jackass Forever.
Yes.
Me and my friends, so like the friends I grew up with, who we used to watch the original TV show and stuff together. We've been waiting for this to come out for so long because it just seemed like the perfect excuse to get back together and go to the cinema and just like laugh ourselves silly. And it was exactly what I wanted Jackass Forever to be. Like, it was so dumb and sweet, and also there was like some Ryan Dunn stuff at the end that actually got me a little bit emotional at the end. But yeah, it was. I don't know. Can you really call it a film? I don't know. It's just a TV show, but with bigger cameras and
there are some
stunts.
like cinematic moments, mainly the intro, isn't it? But that intro was spectacular. I mean, I feel like I knew what was coming, but at the same time, it still made me belly laugh.
A similar thing to that one with Preston halfway through and like Rocky music or something. Nearly killed me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I didn't realize that was like a miniature set originally. I was like,
no, I didn't.
Okay, can't spoil it, but still.
Yeah,
I do want to go see it. It looks great.
Yeah,
it's very stupid.
Anything too extreme or like spoilery, but like they do go really hard. Actually, there were some scenes where I was like, "Oh, okay, this is a bit much even for you guys." Fucking hell.
Yeah.
In certain things, I'm like, "Oh, you're really going hard."
And their reactions, like Danger Aaron McGee's reactions to when something bad's about to happen.
Honestly,
I'm like, oh my god.
Aaron, though, I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you all right? How are you alive?"
He's just a glutton for pain, especially in his testicle region.
I know.
There's a horror-related stunt in there, the Silence of the Lambs bit, which was good.
God, that was so good.
Yeah. Sorry, Andy. But
that was good.
That was good. This just builds the anticipation.
Like, it's so funny.
Highly recommended. I feel like it's a bit back to basics as well. It feels like a lot of the stuff in there is just. Yeah, I know they've like recreated old stunts as well.
Loads of new guys as well.
Which is cool.
In it.
Yeah,
the new guys are good.
Yeah.
Lovely. Anything else? Anybody seen anything else this week?
Don't think so.
I've seen. Sorry, I'll just jump in there.
There you go. I'll see if I can remember seeing anything.
So I saw Uncharted last night.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm still not quite decided whether I completely hated it or just thought it was all right, but it just doesn't really. It feels like a bit of a cookie cutter. I know I've already said that, but a cookie cutter action adventure movie with Tom Holland. I feel like if you called it something else, then it would have been the same. I just think everybody's so miscast in it, from Nathan Drake to Sully to even like minor characters, like Chloe Fraser's in it, and I don't know. I just never quite got there. I think when you're playing the Uncharted games, you feel a certain way and everything feels like huge. It felt strangely like apart from maybe the end, it felt strangely like small scale. I don't know. I just feel like everything was kind of happening like in a crypt or in a museum or in an art gallery, and until the end when it proper opens up and you see like a big sort of set piece, I was a bit like, okay, I don't know. Wasn't convinced.
It's a bit weird. I don't know that the Uncharted games are so cinematic at times, especially like number 4. It feels weird transposing that to cinema when it almost feels like it's already in its perfect medium.
There are some things that don't require an adaptation, and also you can have like sometimes it can go to show that you can have. If you're planning to make a cake, you could have got the best recipe, the best ingredients. You can still fuck it up against the wall, can't you? And absolutely trash it. So it doesn't matter.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
We've all done it. And as I mentioned before, like not using the soundtrack. I mean, they do use it a bit, but I don't know. just felt so generic. But
Charted, if it had been called. I know
Charted.
exactly where this is going.
Charted. I mean, Tom Holland's great. I think he's a great leading man, and but I'm not so sure about Marky Mark.
You were
Mr.
just there
Wahlberg.
you were just there booing to no Tomb Raider. You're a Tomb Raider boy. You had your Tomb Raider shirt on. You were all ready.
Yeah, exactly.
I've chosen my action adventure franchise. Thank you.
Come on, get on with it. I just felt it kind of was trying to be like the origin story of a character, but I don't know if that works for Nathan Drake. I know in one of the games you get like him when he's younger for a bit, but I don't know. The fact I never believed his relationship with Sully. It didn't really have any importance, or there was no weight to it. It was just...
You need an origin story, right? Like I know, like you said, they go back, but Uncharted 1 throws you in pretty much. They just are. I'm an adventuring man.
We understand the relationship between these two characters. Just felt undercooked, a little bit raw in the middle.
Okay.
That's it. I think that's all I've really seen this week.
Well then, Andy, have you got one?
There's nothing. Anybody else?
Fright Fest stuff, and I watched most of the Cuphead series, which is a cartoon, but the devil's in it, so horror adjacent. The devil's the best character. He's very funny. Apart from that, just the film of the week.
I've just watched a lot of rubbish, really. Like, there's lots of reality TV. I don't want to talk about that. I think I just want to decompress and watch kind of stuff. I mean, aside from Texas Chainsaw, I've just been watching like 90 Day Fiance and that kind of rubbish. So nothing of note, no.
Max is back now. You've got to clear it off for that, surely.
Nah, it's just chaotic relationships, and it just makes me laugh. So I enjoy it.
I think
helps
you
me
need,
switch off.
You need the balance. You need stuff like that. Catfish is the one for me.
Oh, I love Catfish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Catfish
even though it's like the same, like it is the same, and you know
same
exactly
every
what's
single
gonna
time.
happen. Every
But
single
there's
time.
still a part of you that's like, what's going to come out of that door?
When that Zoom ding happens, I'm like,
Oh,
who the
there's
fuck's it
always,
gonna be?
like, the one they know, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yes. It goes to an advert, doesn't it? Just before they log into the Zoom as well, and I just can't take it. My heart actually starts racing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why did you do this? And it's like, because you did this to me in school like 10 years ago. And it's like, what? Come on, man, really? Like, who's got the time to catfish someone?
I hold a grudge, all right? I'm gonna get
I've had this plan since that day when I said, "Oh, do you want to do 1 for 1 swap on these crisps?" And he went, "No, thanks." I thought, right,
right, that's it.
Catfish the shit out of you one day.
Well, it's a great series, Catfish, though. It's such trash, but like I can binge watch that one. That's a binge watchy one.
I just love everybody so much. Neve and Cammy are like the ultimate.
I know.
duo.
I miss Max though. Max is great.
Yeah, I definitely miss Max, but Cammy's a lovely
She's cool.
replacement.
She's cool. Yeah.
She's cool.
Speaking of catfishing, though, I tell you what, in the film we covered this week, someone is not quite who they seem.
Oh yes,
the ultimate catfish, if anyone. Okay, so this week's movie is Orphan. Did I say that with an F? That's weird. Orphan is a 2009 psychological horror film directed by Jaume Collet-Serra and written by David Leslie Johnson. The film stars Vera Farmiga, Peter Sarsgaard, Isabelle Fuhrman. The plot is a husband and wife who recently lost their baby adopt a 9-year-old girl who is not nearly as innocent as she appears.
So this film, on the rating reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if Lucy has contributed her rating to this one, but the critic score is 56. And then for the lowly non-tomatoes people like us guys, it's at 63%. IMDb is at 7 out of 10. Letterboxd is at 3.3 out of 5. Interestingly, this was Roger Ebert's, I was going to say his favorite film. It wasn't his favorite film. But he gave it a 3.5 stars out of 4 because he grades things out of 4. And he said, if you want a good horror film about a child from hell, you got one.
Much refers it to Problem Child and
Problem Child. That's when the kid gets porridge stuck on the ceiling. So I always remember that bit for some reason.
Gets what stuck on the ceiling?
Porridge.
Always winding his poor granddad up.
Porridge.
This is way better than Dennis the Menace, The Omen.
Oh yeah.
All those naughty boys and girls, mostly boys, I guess. But yeah, this one's about
So ever
bad
such
girl
naughty,
kid.
ever such a naughty girl in this.
Well,
every-
spoilers.
as-
Really, is she a naughty girl? No.
Has everybody seen this before?
I have, yeah.
I think I saw it. I saw it a long time ago, but I think I knew the twist before I watched it because I think
Same.
somebody told me
It
that
definitely
they said,
been-
"You got to watch this film. You never guess what. Here's the twist." And I just went, "Oh,
Did that
It
ruin the
definitely been
experience for you,
spoiled.
do you think? Because I feel like that was a pretty good twist when I first saw it a long time
Yeah.
ago.
I don't know, really. I mean, I guess it did, but I still enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it this time as well."
It feels, this is a Dark Castle film. It actually feels quite tasteful when you think about it in that, in those terms. Like it's quite
Yeah.
a highbrow Dark Castle film, I would say.
Stick A24 in front of this.
Is this even a horror film? I mean, I guess it does go horror, doesn't it, when the hammer comes out? But it feels like a Gone Girl thriller at times. That kind of
It
vibe.
is a bit scary because it's almost like when you're watching it that you are kind of thinking, is there something supernatural about her? Even though you know there isn't if you've seen it before. But I don't know, it's got that sort of vibe and the scare. There are jump scares and there are like creepy moments. You're like,
I
what's she
think with
thinking?
different
What's she
writers,
gonna do next?
they could have taken it another way. She could have been a bloody Brahms, couldn't she? If want to take it a different way, but no, she's not. It's they play it down the line. But
What about you, Lucy? You've obviously seen it before as well.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when I saw it, but I do know I didn't know the twist, so it was a shock for me. And what a shock it is. I mean, it's probably like one of the biggest sort of like what the hell moments since like the first Saw film. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's kind of, you know, the him getting up off the floor, and then obviously what happens with her in this. It's like, what? Like, it's kind of, and it's an insane reveal though, because you're like, that's not like, that's bizarre, that's batshit, but at the same time it kind of fits the vibe of this film. So I was digging it, you know. I didn't mentally check out when I found out what was going on. I was like, okay, I'm in this for the long haul, you know. Right?
Yeah.
But I literally I can't remember when I watched it though, because I mean it came out in 2009. It's been a long time. But I do remember I was probably watched it when I was far too young. I remember that much. Yeah. It's a mad one.
When you were 9 years old is when you. Or were you? Or were you 35?
Pretending to be 9.
Disguised.
Check the teeth.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously we will get to that, but that was pretty. I think I wouldn't say what the reveal is, obviously, but in terms of the way the reveal was, in terms of the way it happened, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was convinced. Even though I knew, I was convinced. Yeah. So obviously, and there's supposed to be a prequel coming out this year as well.
I don't understand how. I know it's like the first family that she set on fire or whatever.
Orphaned.
You're surely going to win if that's the case. It's just about her doing a murder.
But we're saying the actress is the same actress. Isabelle Fuhrman is in it, but she's 24 years old now.
They're going to use de-aging technology, I imagine, to
make her look even younger.
Yeah,
it's a prequel because listed in the cast, she's still Esther, but then there's somebody else playing young Esther. So
maybe she's going to start off as an adult, and then
I got a great story for you. I got a great story for you. You never guess what, and then she'll start telling it, and it'll be about when she was a murderous.
When she was actually like a normal, nice little girl, and she didn't have ribbons. And then she goes mad. She goes, "Blooming hell, I'm getting a bit older, but I still look exactly the same, like a kid. Better turn evil, I guess."
Happened to Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, of course, she got pissed off with still looking young, having them curls.
Human, and she just doubled down.
With me as well. I still look like I'm 10.
You sure do.
It's that propeller you have on your hat, Luke. And the big wowie pop that you always like carrying around.
You always got Tasmanian devil boxer shorts on all the time. Grow up.
You stop yo-yoing, Luke. No wonder you're never 10.
Never going to stop yo-yoing. You know me.
I bet you're a shit out of yo-yoing. So who's in this? We've got Vera Farmiga as Kate Coleman. And then Peter Sarsgaard as John Coleman. Vera Farmiga, my God, she's in it. There must have been a period of time where every horror movie She was in, right?
She's every horror mum.
She's every horror mum that has ever existed rolled into one.
I'd forgotten she was in this. And you just saying it,
that was the first twist for you.
Just struck you.
What?
She's here. And then you just say it around John Coleman, the most normal name of any character ever.
Hi there, my name's John Coleman.
Just put the chase on. Hi, John Coleman. I'm from the Wirral, and I'm a tax assistant.
The Wirral. A little bit of admin. The Wirral. Yeah. Also, we've met Peter Sarsgaard. Can't get on board with him being like essentially a good guy because he's always a villain for me. He's just got one of those faces. But horniest dad award does he get?
He's the villain.
Honestly, this man needs to chill out.
He's
to keep it in his pants for 5 minutes.
He's the villain of this film until about the last 10 minutes, as far as I'm concerned.
What doesn't turn you on? The kitchen. The fucking
everything.
Maybe not the orphanage. Okay, let's not.
I mean,
I've just he comes in one day. I've just put the dishwasher on. Oh, you know how that gets me going.
I just loaded the dishwasher completely wrong. Right. Get to the bedroom, Vera Farmiga.
Don't also, actually just here. Just here in the kitchen.
Your wife has lost a child. Have some respect. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Come on. Your wife's lost a child. You've got 2 children in the house and a recently adopted child.
And you've got a job. Focus on your job.
Keep it in your pants, or I don't know, find somewhere quiet, sort yourself out.
You've got a bedroom as well, John Coleman. Like,
what?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Listen, John Coleman.
Only the kitchen.
when you've got 3 kids. And a massively open plan house, I must say. It's not like the kitchens,
it's
full
of mirrors and windows
off the door. Yeah,
literally
the walls
are
completely glass-fronted house with its completely open plan. I'm sorry. The time for you to have spontaneous sex in your kitchen, it's past, mate. Soz. Don't mean to be a downer.
I mean, the 3 kids is enough. Like, who has the honestly?
Yeah.
I don't have 3 kids, but I can imagine. Like, come on, John, sort it out.
This save ended up with 3 kids, John.
Yeah.
I
recognised Sister Abigail. I recognise her from something.
Yeah.
What's she from now?
She's in loads of stuff. I think she's in
like a character actress. I think probably pops up in.
I feel like she might have played a nun in something else.
I
reckon she had the habit. Can I play the nun in this? Oh, I don't know. We haven't got a wardrobe for it. I've got a nun's outfit. Wear it.
Yeah, I can't get the zip off. It's stuck. So just do more parts.
She's in Demon Knight. We've reviewed that. She's in. See, this is who she's in Face Off, which is what am I? When I'm trying to picture her, I picture her in like a 90s action film for some reason. Getting killed by someone. I think maybe Nicolas Cage does her in, possibly.
Like
maybe with a hammer. Yeah, she's in RoboCop 3.
Oh, that's the one when he gets a jetpack and fights samurais. She must have been one of the samurais.
Or the jetpack.
She voices Amanda Waller in like every iteration of.
Oh, there you go.
It's like
that's why I recognize
all the DC animated stuff. She's all over it. So that's pretty cool. And then it looks like just character actress because she's done loads and loads of TV as well. But she is in the Fallout, the original Fallout game in 1997, playing head scribe Vree. Look at that! What a connection!
Get out of here! What a link! Stop. Is she a nun in the Brotherhood? Who knows? Like, she could be.
She could be a nun. She could get hammered in the crust by any and everybody. Bless her. Who else? And then we got like
Jimmy Bennett. Jimmy Bennett, the snooker player. It sounds like a snooker player.
Jimmy Bennett. Daniel Coleman. Give these people more interesting names, for God's sake.
Also, that's not right. They don't call him Daniel Coleman. He's Daniel Coldboy.
Daniel Coldboy.
Daniel Coldboy, for me, is the second villain of this.
He's that annoying fucking snot-nosed kid, isn't he? He really is.
Especially when he says to Esther, like, no, I didn't feel sorry for him in the least. And he was like, oh, Esther, you're a freak. You just shot that pigeon, you little psycho.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't think it hurt it.
Oh, I didn't think it would hurt. It's a paintball, like stupid. Like,
and he thinks he thinks he's shit out of Guitar Hero, but we can all tell he's playing it on the easiest difficulty.
Yeah.
He's doing like a Rise Against song at one point.
His dad, like, look at me. It's like, all right.
Look at me, I'm doing a Rise Against song. Shut up.
The dad's reaction, though. Oh,
like,
yeah,
your sister's an artist. Have some respect. And bought her an easel.
Oh, yeah, great.
Sorry,
really
sorry, Daniel. Is your welcome to the family to this adopted kid we've just got? Maybe I don't want to watch you play Guitar Hero right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great game.
It was a great game. That was the first one as well they're playing.
I think it was the Xbox version of the second one because of those white guitars.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Not
Not that I didn't spend hours and hours.
No. I worked at Game at the time I sold them.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Andy's notes while watching this film is just on the Guitar Hero tech. It was
Guitar Hero 2, yeah.
I remember playing that game so much that as I looked away from the TV, like the world was like falling away from me.
Your TV would look like it was like scrolling up the wall.
Yeah.
I did that as well.
Yeah. I was always absolutely terrible at Guitar Hero, like really shit. Just could never get it down.
I got to the point where I was good enough, even though I play guitar anyway, but like it felt like I was actually playing like solos and lead bits and like adding feeling to like pressing the buttons.
actually doing like a concert. We genuinely got paid to play Guitar Hero for a while. When it first came out, our district manager came and said, games like this, we want to get people getting their hands on it. So literally I spent several shifts standing in a shop playing Guitar Hero all day because my boss had told me to. What a time.
What a life to live. Why'd you quit that job?
You're a paid musician. That's
amazing. You put that on my CV, a paid musician.
Yeah.
There we go.
What did you play? Xbox.
Xbox plastic guitar.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's the other little girl. Is she not credited?
Max. Her name is Ariana Engineer. It's an interesting surname, isn't it?
Oh wow.
And
she's an actress.
Like a little hearing aid.
Yeah.
That's what you call that.
But why is her surname Engineer? That's not a surname, is it?
She related to those big white fellas from Prometheus.
Oh yeah. The big
one of those is a dad. One of those big Jesuses.
Oh my God.
Is your dad one of them big Jesuses from
Big
Prometheus?
Space Jesus?
Space Jesus. There we go. That's it. Everyone else is like there's some nuns. There's like a mum who's trying to get into Peter Sarsgaard's pants at one point.
Oh yeah.
I got a chair that needs moving upstairs. Is that a euphemism?
There's Cougar Affair mom. There's her daughter, Bully Kid, the third villain of the thing, deserves getting a leg broken if you ask me. That probably turned her life around. She would have probably grown up to be a right psycho. I think being stood up to at a young age probably has set her right.
Yeah, broken ankle and all. That was the scariest scene, I think, in terms of like jump scares and that in that park.
It made me jump.
I was like,
a proper horror movie set within like, I mean, that climbing frame was like the biggest climbing frame ever. I mean, it looked like a normal climbing frame from outside, but inside it was like miles long.
The TARDIS. There we go.
Okay, so
interesting as well.
Actually, sorry.
I was just going to say, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the producers on this movie as well.
Yeah, he had some spare cash, some spare dollar. This starts with like
horrid nightmare scene.
Yeah, I was like, this is like a scene from what's that one that we watched where it's all the nightmare? They may be dead in Vietnam.
Oh yeah, Jacob's Ladder. Yeah,
like a scene from Jacob's Ladder.
It begins in Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
She's, I'm having a baby, and she's brilliant. First baby, no, third. Right, let me just push you into the nightmare theater where this will all go horrid.
Yeah, like blood, like a trail of blood across the floor, and it's like the woman's like smiling. It's all going to be great, and
John Coleman's there filming it, going, "Oh, you're doing ever so good."
Yeah, horrendous.
Really is he horny at this? Is he horny at this moment as well?
Probably.
Probably.
I know you're just about to have a baby, but I can't help it.
Just assume.
Never gets through.
Can't wait to make another one. Me, John Coleman, horniest dad.
He's got a little mug.
The nurse. The nurse brushes past. The nurse brushes past him and he goes, "Well, you trying it as well?"
Oh my
Horrible.
days.
He's just a wrong un.
Yeah.
But this is just a dream sequence, so anything that happens in this dream sequence, not real.
Not reflective on his actual character, because
traumatizing though, honestly. And I think, especially as a woman, I was watching that like, no thanks. I would not like to be in her shoes right now.
No.
Yeah,
So,
covered in
that
blood.
was disturbing.
It's very disturbing because
It was disturbing. Yeah.
they literally pass her. So and originally they say, "Sorry, your baby's died.
Yeah.
Terribly sorry," and then they go, "Actually, baby's just been born. Here it is, covered in blood."
Yeah.
Which is,
And she wakes up like, oh my god.
Yeah, and we've flashed forward. Obviously, this is something that's happened in the past. I think we establish it in the scenes that come through. This is the rest. There are some things that we picked up. It would have been their third child. You see that she has a scar on her stomach now, but probably indicates I don't think it ever explicitly comes out, but maybe they are unable to have any more children. So they, as well as the trauma of having lost a baby, they're obviously not, trying again themselves as an option. So looking at adoption. Super
traumatic circumstances as well, because a little bit later we find out a bit more, where we find out that the baby had essentially been dead in her stomach for a number of days.
Phantom.
So they had to deliver a stillborn baby, which is
so it was a stillbirth, basically. Yeah.
So obviously a super horrific, traumatic event. And that probably does make sense, Andy. Even though they didn't confirm it, I think we're led to believe that she can't have any children.
Yeah. And that's kind of the root cause for the adoption that we're going down now, because and I think she goes as far as saying it, that the kind of love that they were preparing to put into this baby, it's a remainder now, so you've got to use it for something. So
that's how love works.
You can't do anything else that don't look at a waste. They want to put it into an adopted child that doesn't have
got all this love over here. Who wants it? Someone's got to have it.
The existing two kids are like,
or it's going in the bin.
I don't want it. I don't want. Maybe that's what John Coleman's like. That's why John Coleman's such a horny bastard, because he's like, I've got loads of love to go around. All right. Kitchen.
Oh god.
I
Corridor,
need at least
bathroom.
3 kids, otherwise I'm going to be a permanent surplus of love. It's going to be like the milk lakes, and I don't want this to go off, so I need to find somewhere to put it all.
Choice of words. Jeez.
It's the most famous surplus I could think of.
John Coleman's Milk Lakes. Wow.
It's such a snap decision though, isn't it? They're just kind of like, oh, we should adopt, and it's like, okay, maybe we should.
I wasn't
the open
sure.
day down at the orphanage.
Were we made to think that happened like recently? Do we know?
I think they may have been talking about it for a while, because Vera mentions it to a therapist.
Oh yeah, okay.
So she kind of mentions that I think she must recount the nightmare to her, and she goes, maybe I've had this nightmare because we're going to go down to the adopt a kid day at the local nunnery.
Do they explain
it's like the weird open house thing at the
they just let people in and walk around and mill about with the orphans. Just go, see one you like, just ask it if it wants to come home. That's as easy as that. Do they explain why they're adopting like an older child? Is that ever explained?
The nun says, not many people do adopt an older child, because everyone wants babies, like getting animals, I guess. Everyone wants puppy. They want a baby. So they are looking at this group of kids that maybe have kind of accepted to a degree they're unlikely to get adopted.
Mm-hmm.
So they've gone along to see them.
Gone along to the local orphanage to see what's.
There's loads of good ones running around downstairs, playing Red Rover and
there's a great line of like classic child play dialogue, genuine, that comes up, a classic no, you cannot catch me. Kids are obsessed with who can and can't catch them. you remember that when you were a kid, being like uncatchable?
How'd you know that, Andy? Kids are always like, "Oh, I can't catch them."
I was.
No matter how much I chase them, I never can.
Remember being a kid and just thinking uncatchable.
Uncatchable.
And you're.
Are you a child catcher? What's going on here?
And the other thing that you want to do is taunt people with the knowledge that no matter how hard they try,
they
can't catch you.
Yeah, that's pretty good though.
There
People do lose their temper though if you go.
Yeah. So you can't catch me for. It was for a penny cup of tea, which makes no sense.
Who says that?
Never heard that before.
Never heard that. Well, where are you from? What?
Oh, the Midlands. It's a melting pot of society. Right. Yeah, can't catch me for a penny cup of. A penny cup of tea these days. What a bargain!
I mean,
going to your local, please. Go into a local Starbucks. You say pay your taxes and say, well, you can have a penny cup of tea. You say, well, all's forgiven. Take it.
Only if you can catch him.
Come in, as little tax as you like.
Only if I write my name right on the cup.
Yeah. Kids love to talk people with who can and can't catch them.
Yeah. But also, in this initial scene, I don't know if it's just me. I should have rewound it and checked. I'm pretty sure Esther hasn't got a Russian accent in this scene, right? She sounds as American as they come. She sounds
maybe the vaguest amount. Maybe she rolls an R or two.
Your range accent, yeah.
It is one of those accents that drops in and out. And I don't know, was she putting it on? Maybe I missed that. Was she supposed to be putting it on?
Well, she's not actually from Russia, is she?
No, she's
from Estonia.
No, she's
Estonia, but like I'm not an accent expert, but I imagine there are some similarities there, right?
Mm.
I mean, it's not American. They don't sound American.
I think it's like Soviet Union, Estonia.
It's definitely it's regionally accurate. I wouldn't be able to say the difference between, and obviously they have their own languages. So I imagine speaking English, there would be a crossover with some sounds that would carry over. But Esther, who we meet for our first time here, John's already up to it. Like literally, they get there and he goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna nip for a waz." And instead of coming back to where his wife and the nun and the entire tour are, he wanders off because he hears a female singing voice. He goes, "Well,
like, oh,
that's me, John Coleman. That's my game."
Considering the twist, we can make these jokes. Okay, we can make these jokes.
Okay, disclaimer.
Yeah, we can disparage this man's character as much as we like. Doesn't go back. He just hears a singing. I mean, fair play to Esther. She's trying to get adopted. All the kids are playing "You Can't Catch Me" and running around in the thing. She thinks, I need. She's obviously been reading like some techniques. How do I get adopted? She read a listicle, 10 ways you can get adopted.
She's like, a master manipulator.
Like on WikiHow, she's like, right, how to get adopted.
How to get adopted.
Right. I've got to
how to get adopted. Be cute. Have some little bows around your neck.
Sit and paint a really lovely picture, but then have a sad poetic story to go with it. And make sure you're on your own, not with the other orphans. And you're singing a song. So she's at the top of the stairs in the classroom, just singing, like painting a picture, going, "Lonely, lonely."
Like, look at this tiger. Hey, it's lost its cubs. That sounds familiar, right? Like, come on.
She's definitely ripped that story off. She claims it as her own, but she's ripped that story off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who she thinks she is.
Yeah, so John Coleman's one that sees her. She goes, "Oh, what's that picture you're doing?" Lion. Looks sad, doesn't it? Yeah, it's because her cubs, which is a lion's version of children, are missing. And when she's asleep, I'll paint them in. Obviously, narratively, this will be a static picture. It wouldn't, unless you were standing here right now, this would make no sense. But as you are here, I'll paint the lion in. And in a dream, the lions find her, and such happens in real life as well. And then as they're finishing that story, the nun and Vera rock up, and it's like, look at this story. This is Esther, by the way.
Yeah.
Best orphan in town.
Have you got her in blonde?
Look how talented she is. Look at this art for a 9-year-old. Isn't this a bit weird? Like, how can she paint so well?
Yeah, that's weird, because she's like doing like the eyes of the tiger.
Is there a twist?
She's not even looking at the canvas that she's painting. Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking, let's adopt her and set her to
sell her
work,
painting. Yeah,
sell her paintings, make loads of money. Everyone will be happy. It's fine.
especially us. Yeah.
Especially us. Yeah.
I don't know though about you guys, but like if I was in an orphanage and I would just found a child singing and painting on their own, I would be a little bit creeped out. Is that just me?
I would assume it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Why are you by yourself? Like I've seen horror films, all right. Like
Yeah.
I don't trust
Yeah.
you.
Maybe that's it. Kate and John Coleman have never seen a horror film.
No, and they were like, "Oh, we've took
I mean,
the bait."
we all know John only watches
One kind of film.
one kind of film. We know that.
Mhm.
What are you watching, John? You relaxing in there? Yeah.
I'm so
Oh,
relaxed right now.
I'm so relaxed right now. And
Oh
Kate
my
seems
God.
like the kind of person, what does she watch? Nothing with alcohol.
Nightmares about not drinking.
Yeah, just things with AA meetings on.
No, she doesn't. She don't start with.
Oh,
it.
yeah, sorry,
That's
sorry,
an AA thing, and she is not into that.
Sorry.
When the grandma's talking, she goes, "That's an AA phrase, so fuck you." But
That's my days.
But
So funny.
just before we move on to the thing, like if you guys found yourselves in an orphanage, what would your technique be if you wanted
To snag a family.
you wanted to snag this particular family? How are you gonna pull them in?
Just cute as possible.
Mhm.
It's like that. all the
Cute,
time.
polite, some form of talent, I guess. Maybe not like singing and painting. That's a bit of a weird flex. Like, you
I'll
don't
get
want
a break.
both.
I'll get a
Yeah.
break dancing out straight away.
You've got to stand out from the kids that are just running about and chasing.
Yeah, I'll get a boombox out, put on some Run DMC,
Some cardboard
then
on the
I'd-
floor. Just
put some cardboard over the floor, and then Luke, he's in the orphanage with me for some reason.
I'll just
We
be
come,
watching.
we come as a pair. He'd do kickflips over my head. Yeah.
Be a hype man.
I'd go the other way. I think I'd try and just be like the saddest. I think I'd just lie face down on the floor.
I'm stuck and I can't get up.
All the other kids are running. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm so unadopted that like, literally." I'd try and do.
Unadopted.
I'd try and do like a Padme from the end of Star Wars. You know, when she just gives up on life. Just sit
Yeah.
there and do a big breath out.
And then hold your breath until someone says, "Well, all right, we'll adopt you." And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
seems like a good method, I'd say, Andy.
How about you, Lucy? How are you getting adopted? Don't
You're
you left
taking
in the
all the good
orphanage?
ideas. No, I don't know. I would just act normal for one. I'm not going to break dance or like sing and paint pictures of sad lions. I'll just try and be polite and be like, "Hey, man,
They'll be like, the parents be like,
adopt
"No,
me. I'll
that's
do
too
things around the
normal.
house or something. I don't
normal.
know. I'm very
She's hiding
lonely.
something."
Yeah, too normal. She's hiding something.
Too normal.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
That's
I
a
haven't
good-
got any skills. So
I'll
That's
do
a good-
things. I'll do things around the house, but I'm not cleaning the kitchen, John Coleman. All
I'll
right.
fuck the kitchen, guys. I've seen what you're doing there.
I'd,
Right.
I showed him
I
my.
do come with this UV light. I'm going to be checking every room.
Oh, God.
John's worst nightmare.
It'd be worse. It'd be worse than
John's
that.
like
in the background.
And you painted all over my bedroom, didn't you?
What's his name? Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, maybe that's what the paint that she uses is later when the infrared paint that she does the pictures with. Because I don't know where she's buying that from.
There's plenty of it. There's plenty of it knocking about. He's got milk lakes. Just to need.
Nah. Stop. Oh my god.
Okay, so they adopt Esther, but like, how quick is this process? Do they literally just
Honestly.
go?
You just take
Yeah.
her. Just take her. Yeah, we'll
Just
have it.
take her.
Apart from the boot.
It's contactless. Literally, it comes up. Put your phone in the reader.
That's pretty fun.
Literally.
And at this point, Sister Abigail is she like a bit suspicious? Maybe
I
like
don't know. She
seems to-
seemed a bit suspicious, but then she seemed to be like, "Yeah, let's get her gone."
She's great.
She seemed quite up for the end. Yeah,
have they? She's tried to kill me at least 4 times. Ship her out.
she's looking at my head like she wants to hit it with a hammer. Yeah,
So the rest of the family. So Max is 5 years old and she's deaf. On the way home, Kate is teaching Esther some sign language. And there's one son called Daniel Coleman.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Cowboy, sorry, yeah. And he's a bit jealous and cold towards her. He thinks she looks
Oh,
like
he's
she's
a-
walked out of a
absolute piece of work. He's on about Transylvania before she's even got a foot in the door.
Oh yeah, he says Transylvania, and they say, "Well, where are you from? Transylvania?" And they go, "Transylvania's not a country, actually."
Racist little prick, get the fuck out.
Go back to Guitar Hero on like easy mode. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then pretty much, so Esther, they give her some presents, and she's kind of settling in nicely, giving her dad a hug while looking at Daniel as if to say,
Daniel's
"That's
human.
right."
I just thought I sort of
My
wanted
dad,
her to
Dad.
like flip him the V's.
Yeah.
Taking it like,
I kind of thought that was going to happen, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then I guess throughout this, we kind of see that there are like bits when John and Kate are like sort of touching each other or kissing or something, and then it flashes to Esther's face. She ain't happy. She's not happy about it.
he doesn't like it. And the first time, it's a bit like Amityville from the other week. There's a thunderstorm, and we're guessing that sex has been off the table for a while because John Coleman is raging, obviously. And then it looks like it's back on the menu, and then the kids like Esther has
Meat's
engineered
back on the menu.
yeah, Esther has engineered it. So they go, they're like, we're scared of the lightning. She's brought Max in with her, and they go, I'm gonna sleep next to Daddy, and then John's all like, oh, give us a minute.
Well, he does say something like that. Oh, wait a sec.
Yeah.
What did he do? A tactical.
Quickly, as a quick adjust, and then puts on a party political broadcast or something like that.
Yeah. He has like a little water pistol, ice cold for just these situations.
Dad, why are you holding a pillow there? It's just comfy. It's where I like it. All right. Fuck you.
You Esther.
Yeah.
Your little cock block.
Yeah, he's like.
Oh yeah, Esther's cock block attempts. Well, not even attempts. She's
Honestly.
pretty much successful at every turn. Yeah, and obviously, then there's a bit here in the Wikipedia description. It immediately goes to kitchen action, but I don't know if that happens straight away, does it? There's some other.
There's a little bit like
Esther go to school first.
She goes to school, and she's don't know what the problem is. She's wearing a lovely dress. Oh, on this point, I think the nun has pointed out that she wears those ribbons all the time. Don't try and take them off. That basically turns into like it activates a mutant power. Apparently, if you touch him, she screams that entire school down.
That's the only time she kicked off. Apparently, in the orphanage was when they tried to touch her ribbons. I mean, I don't know why you would. Why would you? Get these ribbons off. I'm sick of them.
Let a kid accessorize if she wants, but she's dressed up in a nice dress, and the brother and sister are laughing of making an effort for your first day at school. So she goes in, they go into school, and she meets the bully girl, who is, again, as I say, real piece of work.
What does she say? She says, "Oh, Little Bo Peep has texted me. Little Bo Peep ain't got a phone," and she says she wants her outfit back. Fucking great
It's
joke.
like sick burn. It's like just put in the effort for school.
Also, bearing in mind, that Esther knows swear words. Maybe it's just an American school versus an English school thing. Esther's could have just gone, "Fuck off, love."
Yeah.
Fuck off, or I'll break your ankles.
Esther does give her the 1,000-yard stare though. Like immediately afterwards, she looks like she's like a wrestler looking at someone about to suplex.
Yeah.
Like she's just like Goldberg about to gore him from across the ring.
Just doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin, looking at a watch, like, know what time it is.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
So
here,
that's your favourite kitchen scene.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Kitchen scene is. I'm not sure what's happening before that. What sets him off? John Coleman.
A noise, a smell.
It could be anything. So someone breathed in his vicinity. He's like, yes.
I've just had a lovely piece of cheese, a lovely bit of brie, and you know what? That really gets me going.
A French cheese.
Got me in the
France, quite a romantic country.
Are you going to brush your teeth? Are you going to brush your teeth first, at least, John? No. All right.
got the right horn on. So, and then she's like, "Oh, go on then. Let's have a tiny bit of sex in that. For some reason, John's like, right, I better strip off almost entirely to make sure that if any of the kids that are not out or necessarily even
explodes
asleep,
out of his clothes.
yeah, literally, if any of them,
There was always a kid at school who would stand up to the urinal and pull his trousers all the way down. He was that kid.
yeah.
Oh no.
I'm either naked or fully clothed. There's no in between. All right.
What we doing here, John? Because it feels like if we're having sort of an opportune and spontaneous bit of sex, we could just no. I've got to strip off entirely. So if any of the kids walk in, there is no feasible alternative explanation for what I'm doing.
It's not even stealthy. It's like right, and then she gets like a top off, and she's got a full bra out, and it's like, come on, guys. I mean, like, this is not stealthy. This is obvious. Just full
0%.
on, like, you know.
And then lo and behold,
who rocks
moments later,
They hear that Metal Gear Solid noise, like the alarm noise.
Yeah, literally.
There's a cut scene where like Esther is going down the stairs under a cardboard box.
And the evade music kicks in. So obviously Esther sees and then just immediately vanishes out of shot, but then too late, damage has been done. Sexy time is over.
One of the greatest horrors, like, oh god, I'm gonna have to have an awkward conversation with someone.
And it's Lucy's favourite scene.
And then it's the best scene in the whole film.
God, you should describe this one, Lucy, if anyone.
Okay, cool. So obviously Esther's just witnessed her parents trying to like basically fuck on the kitchen counter, and then obviously she's painting in her room.
That was a Shaggy lyric, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, John should have said it wasn't him. Of course.
John Coleman on the counter.
I'm trying to do a serious explanation here. How dare you? All right.
Sorry.
Professional mode. Mum comes in. She's like, hello, adopted daughter. I need to talk to you about something, about what you saw last night. So, when adults, love each other, they kind of want to express themselves and whatever. And Esther just turns around and just goes, I know, they fuck. Yeah. And then she just goes, and it's the Vera Farmiga just like, look. And
she leaves it at that, doesn't she? She goes,
and then it just cuts to her with the woman being like, so our daughter knows what fucking is. Should we talk about this? And then he's like, nah. He's doing his job like he's an architect or something. Like, just like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Kids say the darndest things. Don't worry about it.
Kids say the darndest
things. And she's just like,
I think you just, I mean, fine to explain, but I wouldn't, if that happened, you wouldn't automatically think that like that child had, been through. You just think maybe they heard it at school, maybe they've been in an orphanage around other kids.
Oh, these mobile phones these days.
Yeah, the dad's like, she's probably pictured it from River West's like architecture drawing a sex swing. I don't know where she's got it from.
I do love how nonchalant he is, though. He's just like, nah, don't worry about it, man. Like, it's fine.
He's got, let's be honest, he's got other things on his mind at all times.
Yeah, he's too busy fuming from what happened,
Yeah.
Devastated.
Yeah. Blue balls.
It's been a while.
What's your latest architect project? And it's just literally loads of like phallic towers that you're drawing.
Yeah, this one's
great.
The
entire house is just a massive dick.
Well, these two little roundness at the bottom.
We'll live in the balls. That's good. Guys, that's where we'll live.
Here's the corridor.
I've just got this new contract. I'm exclusively designing like train tunnels and stuff like that. I'm so wound up. He's like,
oh, it's great. Though,
he hasn't got we haven't covered Vera's job yet. I know that's the actress's name, not the character, but that one's refused to stick, unfortunately. Kate. Yeah. Right, so Kate's job is miscellaneous piano. She used to teach piano at like Yale or something that, but now she doesn't.
Does she do piano tuning as well? There's one bit where she's like tuning a couple of notes or something, and then she just starts to play. It's quite a nice little slumber moment.
Yeah,
early in the film, that when she gets livid, that her really insensitive, that like hearing impaired daughter is playing basketball loudly while she's trying to play piano, and she runs out and shouts at her like whoa.
Shout signs at her.
Yeah.
Come on.
Human. Also, we understand a bit of history about the character as well, that she obviously with the miscarriage and everything. We understand that she has a drinking problem as well. Not
Mhm.
bad enough for her to go to AA, but she quit drinking and she still has little temptations. She's like, sometimes she went, I drove past a wine shop the other day. Did you go in? No. I just looked. I went in. I smelled the bottles. It's really insensitive, actually. Sorry, really insensitive. But yeah, so obviously she's got problems.
She has that drinking. She gave up drinking. She never went to AA. She gave up drinking because one day, we assume, following the grief of either his affair or the miscarriage, possibly both, she was very drunk, and that's why Max is deaf, because she fell in the pond.
Yeah, that's quite a bizarre kind of scene between her and it's like it's the grandma character, but I couldn't work out like exactly who she was, like whose parent she was, to be honest.
John Coleman's dad. She's
is it John's?
Mrs.
I thought
Coleman.
she was odds on to get killed, right?
I thought Nan was getting done in.
Yeah. Just gets off scot free.
But she's quite a judgy bitch, honestly. Just in the background, like, so what are you doing with your life? And it's like, all right.
Conan.
Yeah, it's like Conan.
And she's just like, are you still drinking? All this shit. They talking about the pond. It's like, come on, man. Have a little bit of tact when you talk to somebody. Like, don't bring up all of the traumas. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop this. She's insane.
In your face,
it's got to be her mum
fire later on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fireman Nan.
She's always on the scene.
She's a villain as well.
Fireman Nan, judging you for drinking wine. Fireman Nan.
This family, basically, like Kate has her problems, but is definitely the least villainous. So basically, people who are not villains in this probably goes Kate. Actually, Max, then Kate, then Esther. Everyone else is real bad. So we go back to school after this scene. So basically, we had the little tete-a-tete about Esther knowing all about fucks. And the next day at school, she takes her or do we have the bathtub scene beforehand as well? Where is this before school?
I think the Bible comes first.
Yeah, it's somewhere around here. So yeah, the Bible, basically Esther takes her Bible to school, which has got some photos in it as bookmarks. The bully kid, fresh off that sick burn of that little Bo Peep earlier on, basically goes to snatch the Bible off her, scatters pages everywhere, and then goes to touch Esther's ribbon, meaning she's just like the scream of the banshee so much that the camera goes wobbly. Yeah. And then basically she has marked herself out for she is going to be the first target of Esther's terrible revenge.
Yeah. So I think not long after that is when what's his name? Danny is doing a bit of paintballing. The pigeon lands on top of the target, asking for it, if anything. And he shoots it, but then immediately regrets it because he's like, I thought it'd just go, ow, but no, it died.
Classic making excuses. He runs over to look at that pigeon. Esther and Max come up and she goes, rightly so, like it's in pain. You've got to finish it off now. Thankfully, old Painless is right here, half a brick. And she's like, you've got to finish it off now. And he goes like, oh, I won't do it. Won't do it at all. And she goes, well, fine, I'll do it for you then. She like smashes the pigeon with a brick, splashes him with blood, and he's like, oh, you're a freak, runs off. And it's like,
you hit it with a paintball.
That is on you, mate. Like, she had to do something that was unfortunate. But she wasn't just bricking a completely fine pigeon.
Yeah.
And already in this early stage, we can see how she's like manipulating Max in order to essentially keep her completely quiet, as a sort of silent accomplice, essentially. Which, makes sense, I guess.
Comes in handy.
And not long after that is when she gets the bully classmate in probably the most tense scene of the whole film. Yeah. Playground like playgrounds are scary, you know. I remember in a similar sized playground when I was a kid, I jumped from like one area to another, slipped, landed directly on my ghoulies on like a bar, and then like swung underneath and fell and landed on my head.
Oh, there's probably still, if you take your hat off, Ben, I bet there's probably still little bits of bark embedded in your scalp to this day.
Oh God! Someone might have pushed me. An orphan might have pushed me. Who knows?
Did you snatch a Bible off anyone at school the week before? That
He's
is
always snatching Bibles, Ben.
Maybe some Pokemon
Catching
cards.
kids.
Never
I'll show
would have
you.
done that.
Someone said you can't catch me. Ben took that as a challenge. Is that right?
See you later. Oh, and it was one of those things, you know, when you're in like the world of pain, something absolutely terrible has happened when you get winded or something, and somebody immediately says, "Are you all right?"
You can't
Yeah,
even answer.
yeah.
The worst
Literally
bit,
can't say a word.
the worst bit when you hurt yourself in an incident like that is when, for a moment before it hurts, it feels like an eternity. You know things are going to hurt a lot any second now, but there's just like a moment of clarity where everything's silent. Maybe you can hear some
You're right,
birds
actually.
singing.
Yeah.
Just like look away. You can like see the raindrops falling down, like you've got spider sense or something like that. And then it's like all of a sudden shoot back into it, like
Fuck
Yep.
yeah. So the little girl is.
She's
go on,
loads of like kids running around. Like obviously it's a playground, you expect kids to be running around, but she all of a sudden is spooked by it.
She's spooked by every kid, like screaming, coming around the corner. She's shit. She knows. See, that's the fact. It's karma.
And
She knows
thinks,
she's did wrong. She knows
Yeah.
she's gonna get it.
that death stare has got into her head. And she's like, right, I better get up to the high ground. John has gone off for a smoke to calm down. John Coleman, just to clarify, he's gone off for a little smoke to calm down because he's just encountered a like a flirty mom.
Is it just a flirty mum, or is it somebody he's had history with?
Seemed like there was history.
Because it's all, how's the housing association doing without me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house.
Again,
Sure.
Is that also a euphemism? Are they talking in riddles?
Is that
I need
the
a
swingers
chair.
club it used to be a part of?
One of my chair legs is broken. Wink, wink. I
If
need a
you were
chair
a-
moving upstairs. Wink,
If you
wink.
were a flirty
That's-
parent outside the thing trying to arrange an affair, Ben, what menial task would you invite someone around to do?
Come round and
Over the stairs.
come round and hoover the stairs. Come round and do me washing up.
Wipe the banister.
Wipe the banister. That's a good one. My banister is ever so.
Got a
The banister needs waxing. It needs a polish. It needs a polish. It's ever so dirty and it's really long.
My drains are full of hair. And
Yeah, the drain trap. My drain trap needs emptying out.
Please.
Suck my dick.
What
No.
Lovely.
Oh God, I got carried away. Shit. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm in a playground, for fuck's sake.
There's some weird stains on the toilet bowl.
My cups need bleaching, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
But
My pillows need fluffing up.
turning over.
That's enough. I've had enough. Stop.
He's too turned on. He's gone full John Coleman.
Famous sex pest John Coleman.
Big John Coleman energy.
Oh God. Oh please no.
Esther notices them flirting, but there's no time to focus on that now. She's got a spooked kid to deal
Yeah.
with. So
What I like about this, sorry, Andy.
you go,
When
you
she
go.
notices them flirting, she like follows John's like eye line, what he's looking at. So he kind of like looks at chest area, and then he's like,
Is
she's
that her name?
proper like watching.
Yeah. She's making notes. Chest area.
But yeah, I quite like that.
Interesting.
I think it added such a like interesting dynamic to that scene. I was a bit like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Then she goes,
So much
anyway,
going on.
I can't deal with that now. I've got to deal with this kid. Naturally, the bully girl, starting to get spooked by the sound of children playing, thinks, better take to the high ground. She goes up to the high ground, looks kind of over the precipice of the slide. Sensible child would have just gone down the slide, get out of the danger. And she's there for long, and if you just hears those 3 notes from the end of like a Mortal Kombat round, it's like da, 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 and it goes slightly darker. What's this? And then literally gets like thumped off the end.
Yeah.
And busts a leg on the slide.
Yeah. Esther's like a wild animal. You know, when they reboot the X-Men, she'd make a great Wolverine.
Yeah.
She's the right height.
She's got the rage as well. She gives her
rage,
she gives her a rage attack and sends her off. It's not made explicitly clear, but it's clear enough that it's Esther, right? We don't see her properly.
Oh, I think we see her, and then Max looks up at Esther.
Oh, we do. Esther's like
stood at the top of the slide.
Yeah.
And
then,
like
and then at dinner, point. Max covers for Esther and says that the bully slipped.
Slipped over.
Yeah.
And then we already understand that Esther can understand sign language like really well already. So there's obviously that connection there with Max. That's one of the reasons why she's covering for her, is because she's developing that connection somewhat. I think the parent of the bully kid like says that Esther pushed her, but Esther just says we were playing and she slipped. But when Sister Abigail arrives, they do start talking about all of the accidents and tragic events that happen, and Esther seems to be there as well. There was a kid, running with scissors, and he ended up
stabbed in the chops.
Stabbed in the chops, yeah. Someone else, what else? Someone had a paper cut. Esther, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, all these things.
Someone sat in a thumbtack.
Yeah, it definitely is like an escalation of these things. One of these kids got caught stealing, and Esther was there. It's like reaching now.
Someone's Tamagotchi died. Esther.
What's that smell? Esther. It was a dog.
And the family are already kind of starting to get at odds with each other, because even before Sister Abigail comes round, John and Kate are having a chat, and this is where John gets more villain energy about him, because they were like, oh yeah, you know, Esther said all these things. Oh, Esther also said you were flirting with Sex Mom from down from round the way, and it's like, oh yeah, she asked me to.
Chest area.
Oh, chest area, of course. You're talking to chest area. You were flirting with her, right? Esther told me that you were, and he's like, nah, I wasn't.
Esther told me. Sorry, I'm getting carried away by this stuff.
We were having a joke about it. Actually, I blew her off. She said, "Bet you did." He said, "No, we could have. Why didn't you mention it to me? We could have laughed about it." And he's like, "You can't get jealous of every time I maybe, play to type. Bearing in mind I've already had one affair." She's like, "Well, you did have an affair, didn't you? You just don't keep reminding me about that.
This is why I kept thinking
you made our kid deaf by almost drowning her." Just like.
Yeah. I win. I'll do 4 affairs, all right? 4 affairs would still not outweigh that.
Okay? 4 affairs equals 1 kid deafening.
Yeah. If we're toning up.
This marriage, though, what a mess.
Yeah. He is no good.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. I feel it is one of those, but that's what I quite like about it, is there's enough going on there that it makes it complicated, and you don't quite know who to side with, if anybody. It is interesting that way.
Not famous sex offender John Coleman, obviously.
Yeah.
No, not famous.
You're not supposed to like John, I don't think.
I mean, the film's called The Orphan, Ben, not The Unreasonable Wife.
Yeah, she just won't stop going on, for God's sake. Won't let him do an affair. But I think obviously we understand already that the power dynamic is kind of shifting, because since Esther's been in there, she's setting them off against each other.
He loves
with her classic plan, which seems to have worked before, or at least we find out it has, is that alienate the mum, get cozy with the dad. If all goes to shit,
get rejected by the dad. I mean, I feel like that's happened every time, right? Or
I had a horrible feeling watching this film, because in the earlier cock blocking scene, it comes across because Kate kind of initiates things by crawling under the bed and starting things from under the covers. And I had a horrible thought.
Wait. Under the covers, though? She don't go under the bed.
No, she crawls under. She crawls under the covers. And,
what are you doing under there?
Crawls up from the bottom of the bed, And
That's terrifying.
Oh, no.
sorry,
noises.
there's no
It's a
delicate
horror
way of-
film.
There's no delicate way of putting it. Like John's having a lovely gobby and he's having a nice time, and I had a horrible feeling.
Isn't that the Harry Potter character?
Oh my god, is Esther going to try and pull this off later? And John is going to be like tricked to thinking
Vera.
it's Kate.
Yeah, I thought that.
I thought,
I
oh
did
my
think
god, is
that.
that going to happen? Because then for a minute he's
thought
going to
that.
go, oh shit, I'm going to be
That
on a
crossed-
register, but it doesn't happen like that.
That
thank
crossed
goodness.
that crossed my mind that someone's gonna play the skin flute.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this is going to be
Right.
this is going to be Chekhov's blowjob technique, and it's going to come back later on, but it doesn't. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
I can see why you would think that, but fuck's sake. Yeah.
I mean, it's horrific, I know, but I couldn't quite remember where this film went.
Because I thought Esther would have
remembered
seen that. That's
some-
going to be in the Esther playbook.
Yeah, she'd take her teeth out. Jesus. Sorry.
But yeah, so Sister Abigail comes round and says they have a conversation about it. It's fairly inconclusive, and says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll look into it a little bit more when I get back. So Esther's kind of knows that she's got to put a stop to this Sister Abigail nonsense right now. Gets Max on board and hatches a little plan.
Yeah.
Hatches. What is up with this plan? Is it just
Shove Max in front of the car.
Yeah, was she trying to get Max killed?
Well,
Like,
she tells Max to jump out and wave her arms so she'll stop. I guess Max just hesitates, so she shoves her.
yeah, it's a bit dangerous, but it does work. It's
a
just
bit
kind of
dangerous?
careens off the side of the road, and as she's getting out, oh yeah, Max is crying because she's like nearly been run over and she's probably grazed the knee or something. The sister's trying to help her, and then Esther rocks up with a hammer and hammers her in the head, and then
hammers her in the head? Yeah. And then they drag the body off of the
I'm
road.
disappointed she doesn't have a one-liner for that bit, because it's kind of like the sister is kind of looking over the little girl, and then she comes up behind. It's a bit like the meme where there's the spaceman with a gun saying, "Yeah, it always was." Comes up behind her with like the hammer. What would you say if you're about to bash? What would you say, Ben, if you're about to bash a nun with a hammer? Like a dry action hero whip.
Where's your god now? Smash.
Oh no.
Or something like, what's the Sister Act sequel called? Back in the Habit. Yeah, I'm back in the habit of smashing nuns in the head with a hammer. Bang.
Time to do the Lord's work, because Jesus was a
I would
carpenter.
have hit her again and went,
That's good.
oops,
That's good.
oops, I missed habit.
Sick. Oh my god.
Sorry to be murdering you, nun. It's a really bad habit I've got there.
Jesus Christ.
Or straight up, hammer time.
Yeah, hammer time.
Oh,
And then and then she's got parachute pants on as well.
Oh, the
Just
sister.
runs backwards. So yeah, they drag her off just for another car comes. The nun is not dead at this point though, because she wakes up kind of face down in the snow.
Yeah.
Confused.
Then it's quite brutal. She gets she gets a hammer's like money's worth out of that hammer.
Uh-huh.
Bashes her in a few times, and then they somehow, I don't know how two tiny people get an entire nun in a treehouse. That's a riddle for like a math.
They leave her by the side of the road, don't they? Because they find her all frozen.
Yeah. It's just evidence they take to the treehouse, isn't it?
Oh, the hammer and the,
is it just the hammer?
Hammer and the drawings or something maybe.
The drawings come in later because that's the later of it.
Yeah.
Just the hammer, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Daniel sees her. I don't think he sees. I think he just sees them at the treehouse. Esther clocks this, and then later that night, she gets the old Stanley knife on his throat.
So what did you see?
And
what did you
something else.
see?
Yeah.
If you tell anyone, I'll kill you. You twats.
He's going to cut his willy off.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
chop your
she's
dick
gonna-
off.
What'd she say?
Just chop your pecker off before you even work out what it's for.
I'm
It's
gonna get your.
I know what it's for. It's for pissing. Look.
I'm gonna get your copy of Guitar Hero 2,
Demonstration.
and I'm gonna snap it in half.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"Please don't."
Gonna beat your top scorer on. I was going to say top scorer. That's not what it is.
I won't just beat a
Exactly.
top scorer. I'll beat all the scores. So it just says Esther, 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 all the way
Oh,
down.
Yeah, I know
Damn.
I know you're playing surrender. Yeah, you better surrender right now, otherwise I'm going to scratch your disc, not even break it, just so it doesn't work. He's like, please don't. Yeah, and like I say, he does demonstrate that he knows what his pecker's for, because he manages to piss himself, and she points it out to him in case he wasn't already embarrassed. Having known it, you've gone. This is like the Shaun of the Dead. You've got red
Piss
on you.
your
She's like, pissed yourself.
Got pee on.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I had a massive drink before bed. Sorry. Naughty. He had an
Trying to have
Andy
loads of-
Hewitt Turner sized squash.
Yes, he's had one of these bad boys.
Jesus. Mother of God. Look at the size of it.
For the listeners, we're talking about his squash.
We're talking about his squash, and it's clear that Andy's going to piss himself tonight.
Only if Esther comes and gets me, otherwise, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's kind of got like a threat of silence around the family. Coleboy can't talk because he'll get his willy chopped off if he does with a Stanley knife.
One bit where
Max
she like
can't-
whispers a threat to Max from behind. I'm like, you can't whisper a threat to a deaf person.
Oh, she
I'm
can
pretty
hear
sure
a
they
bit.
can't. Yeah, but
You can hear a bit,
I
yeah.
mean, she like whispers it.
Oh, right.
Like if you wanted to threaten a deaf person, you'd have to shout it. Surely.
She must be really
Fine.
close.
Yeah.
She's basically also told Max that because she's helped her hide the hammer, that she'll be taken away as well if the police come out. So basically, she's an accessory to the hammering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Classic move when you're trying to manipulate kids in horror movies, isn't it? You're an accessory to this, aren't you?
Is
Suppose I
this
am.
when? Is this when they've now? Because is it in the discussion with Sister Abigail that they have established that she is going to take Esther to see her psychiatrist?
Yeah, it seems like Esther's answer to everything is get a psychiatrist involved. Oh, I've got a drinking problem. I'm not going to AA. I'll get the psychiatrist involved.
Yeah, just go to psychiatrist.
I'm worried I'm worried the orphan we've adopted might be a murderer. Psychiatrist is sort of out. There's a fire in the treehouse. Get a psychiatrist on the phone.
Psychiatrist, yeah. Fire brigade who? What? Like, we don't need that.
So they take her to see the psychiatrist, and guess what? The psychiatrist thinks she's an absolute delight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
course.
bloody lovely. She is. I want to adopt her, she says.
She comes out like, oh,
Yeah, you fucking adopt her then.
she kind of steps out of the psychiatrist's office, and it's like orgy of evidence that their conversation has gone really well. It's like she's on first name terms with her. She's like, oh, bye, Julie. I hope we can be friends. She's like, I'm not just saying this. I genuinely hope we can as well, Esther, because I think you are brilliant. Much better than this prick. I've been taking money off for ages. Genuinely, I'd see you for free. Ace. Cannot be more genuine. Receptionist, do not charge this girl for this appointment. We are friends. Okay?
Yeah, like a secret handshake as well.
Yeah.
Best buddies.
Yeah.
And then Vera Farmiga tries to do that handshake but gets it wrong. It's just really embarrassing for everyone involved.
Yeah, she's tried to do it, and they're that's kind of like a private joke.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's pretty quickly after that so Esther's getting along with the dad pretty well. And then Esther says to the dad, I don't think Mum likes me very much. I should do something special for her. And then she ends up cutting all the roses from
That's right. In an early
It's like a
scene.
memorial
Memorial
Yeah,
for the
you've
baby
got,
that passed away.
Well,
Jessica?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty low, even for Esther.
But the flowers grown from the ashes or something. Is that how they worked? I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
It was
well,
definitely a special. It was like a rose
either way, like
bush.
it's a memorial, and to like for her to deface that, I mean, that's kind of the final straw, isn't it? Really,
Well, one of the final straws because you also
one of them. But for me, I'd be like, right, you're a little shit now.
Oh, okay.
Swear to
At
God.
this point, she's not quite ready to kick her head off almost. But she does grab her by the arm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, and then
Yeah, she
Wow.
grabs it. She
Irish
grabs
whips her. Into
Yeah,
the floor.
she does.
Yeah.
Whips us to the ropes. And John is straight over there. I mean, I guess he's not being a bad bloke in this one. He probably should stop someone like beating up a kid, I guess, even if they have done a bad thing.
I think it's just clear, it's plain to see, obviously, as us from the outside looking in, how both parties are being manipulated here. But yeah, the roses thing. Obviously, Esther frames it as she was doing something nice for her as well. So when Kate loses her temper, it's almost like Kate's immediately in the wrong for losing her temper, even though what she's done is horrible. And John just says, well, she obviously didn't know what it was or what it meant or something, and but Kate knows differently. So
is this after she's already showed that? Because she's already kind of, there's been
she says,
a bit of
Jessica,
tension.
didn't she?
She's learned about Jessica, and she showed her the grave when they were when she was on board with it, and she was trying to bond with her. Has she already done the bit where she plays the piano?
I think that's happened already, yeah, because the arm break is about to happen.
Like this comes way after all that stuff. Yeah. So by this point, they've sort of tried to do that, and it's just
And she's gone from like trying to teach her piano to actually, it turns out that she's already, much like sign language, already absolutely quality at it. She walks in there and she's playing
Elton John songs,
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, by this point, it's like, how do you have this many skills at the age of 9? What's going on here? Like,
yeah, but there are kids out there like that. You know, when someone's really good at something, and then you immediately see how old they are, and you go, "Oh,
yeah,
no, that's not fair."
Yeah, but like painting, singing, sign language, the piano. Anything else you can do? I mean, that's quite a lot of things.
English is a second language.
Second language, fluently. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a lot, you know.
She walks in and she goes, and she gives us like a harsh burn already, which is like when she says, "Oh, you know, I didn't tell you I couldn't play the piano. I said it'd be nice for you to teach me because, you know, one of your kids is deaf because of you, by the way. And your son's an absolute dickhead, isn't he? So I thought I'd be a nice thing for you." So this is when like how it escalates. But on this bit, Kate did lose a temper with her, but not enough to break her arm. So Esther sees to that, nips down to the garage, gets the vice.
Quite hard to watch.
Yeah.
Just keeps squeezing it until it like pops out of place, and then she pops it back into place as well. Yeah. It's
pretty nasty. And then when she's in bed, she's calling
Daddy.
Oh, Daddy,
me arm's fucked.
Daddy Coleman.
My arm's absolutely fucking caning. Fuck's sake. And obviously Kate's like, well, I didn't grab her hard enough to break her arm. Turns out
the evidence suggests otherwise.
So it takes her to the hospital. There's not a scene where like the doctors or anything say, how did this happen? Or anything.
No, there isn't. No.
So basically what starts happening now is Esther starts proper doubling down on fucking with Kate to such a degree. I mean, she must be like over the moon that she's also got a secret, well, not a secret, but she's also got a drinking problem as well, because she can essentially push her back into that.
She has a classic like alcoholic film thing, doesn't she, where she buys the wine but then tips it down the sink.
She says to the guy in the shop, "Got guests," and he goes, "I don't give a fuck, love."
Minimum fucking wage.
Have you? Great.
I don't care what you.
And then the next day after that as well is when Esther releases the handbrake in the car. And the car rolls down. There's a guy. There's like a good Samaritan trying to help. He's running.
I think he runs into another car, into a parked car.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's almost the hero of the entire film. He is like the human version of the heroic dog from Amityville, but he doesn't quite pull it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dog. But the car like crashed into the snow, so Max, who was in there, is pretty much all right. But Kate immediately kind of gets the blame and everything. And obviously she's saying, "No, I didn't do this. It was Esther. No, I didn't break her arm. I didn't grab her hard enough."
That's wine.
Everybody around, John, the therapist, the kids, well, not the kids as such, but obviously Esther's dialing into it. They are all like, "Oh, she's got a problem, isn't she? Jesus Christ." They're in a different film. The film they're in is where Kate is the bad guy.
Yeah, it's Unreasonable Mom, the movie.
And
Yeah.
somehow they're just believing that this kid's lies, which is kind of like really infuriating because I like Kate. And I'm like, you deserve better than this shit. Like, you're doing good, you know?
Yeah.
Kate starts doing a little bit of research there, doesn't she? She tracks down where Esther came from.
Yeah, speaks to the an institute in Russia who it isn't, and then she's able to speak to someone that speaks English there, and they're explaining to her that, oh no, this isn't an orphanage. This is like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, this is Arkham Asylum. Yeah.
Sorry, wrong number then. Bye.
So I was looking for the orphanage. Is there an orphanage with a similar name? Russia's quite big, I understand.
Yeah.
But no. But while she's doing this, Fireman Nan is not doing a job because.
Oh yeah.
For a second, I was like, "Who?"
Because
Fireman Nan's not doing a job.
Because Coalboy has found some clues of his own. Like he has got it out of Max that there is some evidence up in the treehouse, which he's currently been locked out of for being a bad boy.
Because he's like saying really loud in that bedroom. Esther's just in the next room over. Okay, yes, I'm going to go to the treehouse to get the evidence. Like you would whisper it super quietly, or I don't know, you just wouldn't say it out loud at all. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
But Esther follows him in, and she like has all the evidence there, and then she like sets it all on fire, and then it turns out that Coalboy is quite flammable as well, being that he's made of coal, and she like squirts him. She doesn't squirt him properly, but just enough to sort of set him on fire.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
A little bit of lighter fluid around the trousers.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel sorry for the kid. That he doesn't deserve this. I know he was like not happy about having an adopted sister.
He's deserved everything up to this point.
Okay, yeah,
that is fair because he has been a bit of a bastard throughout, but he doesn't deserve to be set on fire. Nobody deserves that.
This is the tip. This is the tipping point. He deserves to have his treehouse burned down. He doesn't deserve to be in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's where I draw the line.
He's like hanging on the sides outside. He's like trying to climb onto the roof. So Vanessa's just watching, smiling. It's like her favorite TV show or something. And he falls.
And here's the first. We see that
the
Max...
roof is on fire.
Yeah.
So Max isn't like complicit in this. She's like, nah, this is too much. Not for me. And she stops. Does she stop Esther when
Esther's about to smush him? Like
she's going to coup de grace him like that pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you're off to heaven now, mate. Bye. And then Max comes and shoves her out the way.
Yeah.
But then Kate runs over, and then they get Daniel to hospital, don't they?
Yeah.
This is annoying. I mean, so Kate says, "Don't let Esther out of your sight," and then the fireman Nan lets her out of sight within seconds to go and get like a soda.
To be fair, though, I don't think fireman Nan thinks that Esther is in any way a threat at any.
No,
do you know
but
what I mean? Like she's Kate, but that's why Kate should say something. Don't let her out of your sight. She's possibly a murderess.
I was just on the phone to Russian Arkham Asylum when you weren't watching the kids being on fire. Like I wasn't pissing about. You are here to babysit, and you weren't watching them. I was trying to find out if she is an escaped like mental patient. So just keep an eye on her and don't let her go and possibly murder anyone if you could.
Yes.
Doesn't listen to that at all.
No, and then what's his name? Daniel. He's like wakes up traumatized from nearly being burned alive, and then he just sees Esther on top of him with a pillow. She's very sneaky. She even takes off like the finger monitor and puts it on her own finger. So
that's a very smooth move, isn't it?
Yeah,
so you can't hear him being
James Bond
suffocated to deth. Yeah.
Yeah, she should play the next James Bond after Daniel Craig. She'd be great. How would you feel like if she actually killed Daniel at this point? Because at first I thought she had, and I was like, well, that seems a bit hard.
Because he had his eyes open, didn't he? Like he was.
It was, like and the camera pulled away, and it flatlined. It was like he was dead. And then the doctors came in and they said he's still got a pulse. But
She just made him poorly. Like he was already quite poorly, and she made him a little bit more. So,
the thing is with pillows, that doesn't work anyway. You can breathe through pillows. I tested it.
It's made him fall into a deeper
You've
sleep.
tested it. You tried to murder
Tested it. I mean, what?
I mean, if you put a pillow over your face, over anyone's face, I've tested it on other people.
With enough force, and like if the pillow's thick enough, not one of those.
You have to like force it though. You can't just put it on the face. Like you have to be like.
Even still, you can breathe through them. I think unless it's a special kind of pillow.
Is this Mythbusters? What's going on here? Like really?
Tell that to the people who've been murdered that way. Well, you should just breathe.
Oh, just breathe. Just breathe.
I guess like it's so comfy you forget to breathe because the pillow's right over your face.
Yeah, if you're just too cozy. Listeners at home,
if
don't try and breathe through pillows.
Don't
do it. Prove my
listen
theory.
to any of this.
I love the bit in this scene as Esther gets to escape. I think we put a gif of it as we were getting ready for this bit. It's a great bit of acting here as well. When she's like walking along, she's like having the joys of spring. Good morning to someone in the hospital, and then as they walk past her, she goes from like really happy to like scowl.
What a lovely little
The
girl.
range. We love to say it.
Kate gives her like a running fire punch. What's the uppercut that Ryu does in Street Fighter? Yeah. And then she goes like, nearly takes her head off. But obviously this looks wrong. I mean, you can't go slapping 9-year-old kids like that.
Yeah, she absolutely like does a full power attack on this.
She's just
at the moment. We think
this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Try and kill my bloody son. I'll have you. Well, obviously, again, I think it's good because whenever you see this, you see it through the eyes of Kate initially, but then as soon as it happens, you see it through everyone else's eyes and how bad it must look.
And it's like, oh no, that looks bad. A kid whose arm you've recently just broken as well.
Yeah.
So then what happens? I think so
basically,
Kate ends up in hospital. She's been sedated.
She gets sedated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite strange.
Like if you thump a kid in hospital, the receptionist basically goes, "Caesar," and she gets seized by some hospital guards who immediately fill her up with tranquilizers, and they go, "Well, we won't arrest you. We will just let you sleep this off."
Yeah.
You can just sleep off this attempted murder.
John seems like he's still like, oh, don't worry, you'll be all right and stuff. I thought maybe he'd be angrier at the fact because he's obviously still thinks Esther's just a little innocent kid.
Right?
But now this evening, he's taking Esther home, and now she's free to finalize, her plan, put everything into place.
Operation Seduction.
So,
oh God, this is uncomfortable. Yeah,
it's incredibly uncomfortable, isn't it? What does she do? Does she give him something?
She makes some adjustments to the dress.
Like a charcuterie board, is that what that's called? Like some olives, some salami.
Yeah, she gets anything
like cheese and wine party. Yeah,
nice little Jose platter.
Well, she makes that for him.
Well, yeah, she's like, I don't know, maybe it's just in the fridge already.
She brings it in, but he's getting fucked up on wine, isn't he? That leftover wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like constantly rubbing his head, going,
"Oh, it's red wine." Famously goes to your head.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then Esther does
and
a
the
little
face
bit.
is like all distorted in his eyes and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's just trying to say, even though he clearly rejects her, he's still not of sound mind.
Yeah, he's been UB40'd. He's absolutely off his rocker on red wine. So it must be a fortified wine, though. Well, I don't know, Ben. I've seen you polish up 2 bottles of red in a quiz.
Yeah. Goes to your head. It does. What is it?
Mm.
A good red, what are we looking at? 15%?
Yeah.
Maybe more?
You can get some strong ones. Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a lot stronger than white. And if this guy hasn't eaten anything, I mean,
He hasn't even started his charcuterie board.
There you go.
He's had a singular olive.
That's not enough to line the stomach. You need a bit of carbs in there. You need some some like some fatty stuff, not olives.
He should have got himself a pizza in if his
You need some McDonald's or something like line the stomach.
Perfect timing. He should have had a takeaway. Bearing in mind, one of your kids is in hospital, the other one
Get a kebab on the way home.
Your
I don't know
wife's
if you should
Priority
do that.
plan.
your wife's been sedated. I think you can
For
probably
some
justify
reason.
Cheat meal.
a takeaway today.
Yeah. I can't be. I've had a bad day. I can't bother to cook. You've had a bad day. Listen to this. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not a competition, but my God, you win.
So he's basically.
And my adopted daughter's trying it on in the next room.
Well, she does. She makes herself a nice. She customizes, I assume, one of Kate's dresses. She just makes it into kid sizes. And with a wobbly face, goes to try and seduce him.
Yeah.
So it is horrible. It's uncomfortable. She claims, obviously, you told me you love me to him, obviously, and he did. But
you have got me there.
It's very clear to say, not like that. Not like that. And what,
as a friend, a friend zone.
As a friend. Sorry, I'm gonna have to friend zone
Sorry.
you / daughter zone you.
I know you're my daughter, but
she does not take it well being daughter zoned.
No. And around about the same time is when Kate is contacted by the guy from the institute, where it turns out Esther escaped. Is that right?
Yeah.
Left somehow. And this is where the twist is revealed at the same time as. So you might feel uncomfortable with this scene, but it's this takes the edge off a bit. A lot.
John steps away from John steps away independently of knowing that she's about 35 years old. He does step away from the fact that when he daughter zones her, he goes like, nah, not gonna do that. Not that much of a wrong, and I'm just stage 1 cancelled, not all the way. Meanwhile,
you can come back from stage 1 cancelled.
Yeah, you just
stage 2 debatable. Stage 3, see you later.
Release your next album for free, people, or people will get over it apparently. But yeah, if
wait, who's that? Who is that?
Chris Brown.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Allegedly.
That's stage 2.
Definitely.
That's stage 2, surely.
Oh yeah, he's beyond that. I don't know who stage 1 cancelled. Maybe someone who has some off-color tweets. Yeah. So he steps away from that. But yeah, meanwhile, Kate, apparently it's just okay. You're not in any police trouble. You're just allowed to sleep off punching a kid. So she's stage 0 cancelled. She's just on a warning. She's able to take this phone call. The man from Ukraine says, yeah, she was here for a while, and she is a proper wrong-un. She's 35 years old. Check her teeth if you don't believe me. And if you look under her ribbons, she has scars from all those times she tried to do some escaping. She was actually the most violent, and she will burn your house down if she can't sleep with your husband. So either way, whoever wins, you lose.
So she's killed like at least 7 people apparently. Her name's Lena Klammer. She has
proportionate dwarfism.
I can't say it. It's a long word.
That's a much better way of saying it.
She has looked like a little kid disease.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, but obviously she spent most
stunted growth is the PC way of saying that.
Yeah.
And she used it to her advantage because she's spent most of her life posing as a little girl. Don't have to get a job. Don't have to do the 9 to 5.
If I had this illness,
I'll take it.
You'd be so good at school. You'd be like, know this. You'd be like, who was the prime minister? And I was born, mate. I know. I tell you, I was there, voted for him.
You'd show off, wouldn't you? You'd become a child prodigy. So basically, while that is removed, is around about the same time that while that was revealed, John rejects Esther. She don't take kindly to that, and she goes and removes her disguise, which is just
like dentures. Also, she takes the makeup off, and her skin is like
sags.
She also has like a band around her chest.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's wrapped up, isn't she? She's Mulan it when she's pretending to be a boy soldier rather than an actual woman.
Yeah.
She takes off her disguise, so she looks like an adult now, still small.
What makeup is she using as well? Because her, like, when she wipes it all off, her face, it's a bit saggy.
Damn, yeah, some good makeup. Like, I want to know what she's
Yeah,
using.
come on, what brand is that?
Some like Umbrella Corporation shit.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the actress, who is a kid, we should say that, because I was never sure. Call me an idiot, but I was never quite sure whether the actress was a kid at the time or whether it was also an actress who had a similar
Or someone who just looked incredibly young.
disorder. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
How old was she when she filmed this?
So she was born in 1997. So she would have been what, 12?
Yeah.
Like 12. So around about the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think she goes into this role of like I believe it when she's like this little, she's like roaming around killing people, attacking people with a horrible little scary snarl. I believed it.
Yeah.
So she immediately goes and stabs John to death. I mean,
Before she does this is I want to address your background, Ben, because while she's getting changed into murder mode, John Coleman nips up to her bedroom and realizes underneath all the nice photos pictures she's been painting about lionesses and the cubs and the like, she's presented a orgy of UV evidence. When you turn the light off, you can see that she's filled it with sort of pornographic images of her and John Coleman. John Coleman goes, "Oh, no time for that now. Sorry, in a life or death situation. Concentrate."
Yeah, boy.
And, so she's like painted. She's painted. Is she painted a house or a church or something?
Yeah, a Bernie house. A normal house.
Yeah, it's the Arkham Asylum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Arkham Asylum, and it looks like a normal, like stately home normally, but when you turn the black light on it, it's all burning down.
Yeah. So this happens. I'm pretty sure that sort of happens immediately after the reveal of her being a like 35-year-old, and so then she goes and stabs John to death. Don't put up much of a fight. He's like, had enough.
Well, he gets stabbed in the back initially, doesn't he? I think,
of course,
bleeds out a bit.
He's weakened from that, and then she stabs him literally
to
pieces.
Weakness.
Unsurvivable. Yeah, I mean, he's been after some form of penetration for the entire movie, and he finally gets some irony.
It's a very unsatisfying death, though, because he just sort of goes down, and you're like, "Oh, okay, bye, John." That's the end of John, then.
Yeah, but then
he's out of here.
That leaves Max in the house, like alone with her, like skulking around. I think she even gets like a gun, like a 6-shooter.
Yeah, she's got like a full-on revolver at this point.
Damn, Max.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because she wasn't arrested, Kate is able to come back and then just smashes into the house. No time to pull up nicely.
Yeah. Obviously sees John's dead body, sobs a bit.
Not John.
But then she realizes she needs to protect Max. And then there's this like scene where it's a little bit of a sort of home invasion style thriller where Kate's trying to protect Max from Esther, who's just roaming around with a gun, ready to pop a cap in anyone's face.
She's almost caught up with Max in like the greenhouse section, and then it's like a WWE moment where Kate's up on the top turnbuckle and like elbow drops through the roof and smashes her flat.
By God, she's broken in half.
I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. Oh yes.
Yeah, and that's like the killing blow, I guess. Supposedly the killing blow. Is that right?
All the glass falls down on, and she's all chopped up now. Everyone's in a bad way.
Police are arriving.
Because Kate actually does the sensible thing. She phones the police when she's on the way there, and she doesn't say something that will make the police say a likely story. She says, there is an intruder in our house. She goes, "Oh, a standard crime. I will turn up." If she phoned up and did what lots of people in horror films do, that would go, oh, my daughter's actually a 35-year-old lunatic from Ukraine.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I punched her in the face when she's trying to seduce my husband, and I'm afraid she stabbed him. My little girl's deaf. And oh God!
And I also broke her arm, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
just saying.
I also broke her arm, but I didn't break her arm because I didn't grab her arm.
But I didn't actually.
Didn't even grab her that hard, and that wine wasn't. I poured it away.
Oh, and she also pulled flowers out of my dead kid's grave, just so you know.
Yeah.
She's just gonna call the therapist. Is what she's gonna do.
Literally.
Therapist. I know it's out of your normal operating hours, but please come to my house and save me from this murderous orphan.
Bring fireman Nan. Her inclusion up to this point has been arbitrary at best.
Fireman Nan.
But she doesn't. She phones the police sensibly, and they're just arriving. There is just enough time for them to have a wrestle in and around the fateful pond. Thinking back on it, that pond where your daughter had like a famously life-threatening. You might have moved or cemented it over, but no.
Yeah, just fill it in. Why is it still there? Come on.
Well, it looks pretty, doesn't
If
it?
it's not safe.
I guess
we'll fill it in after these koi have gone and they're long-lived.
Yeah.
So yeah, they end up fighting on the ice. Max ends up with the gun, tries to shoot Lena. That's Lena, not Esther, isn't it? Lena tries to shoot her, but she like shatters the ice. Lena and Kate go underwater. They're like having a scrap in there. Kate climbs out, and with Lena clinging onto her legs, there's an iconic uttering of a famous line. Maybe we'll let Lucy do this again.
Okay. What is it? Is it she's pleading for her life and trying to kind of claim that she's family, and it's something along the lines of "I'm not your fucking mummy" or something like that is what she says, right?
Yeah.
And then just fucking boots her, basically.
Oh, it's such a boot in the face. Like I
And it's
really
a
did feel
boot.
that.
I'm not your mother. Like
This
put
is
a
like-
Tony Collette moment in like Hereditary, but like the reverse. It's pretty great.
It is
She does
good.
not the
it's
mama
great.
like
What a
of
line.
dinosaurs. She goes, no, not the fucking mama. And then
Brutal.
like there's like a Mortal Kombat X-ray move on it. Like
It's
literally.
such a like. It's pretty intense though. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, what an ending.
It is a
Breaking
intense
her
ending.
neck.
And she's
Isn't
and
it?
she's dead, right?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
She sinks down into oblivion. I feel like if they
Snap the
wanted
neck.
to do
So
I feel like if they wanted to do a sequel, they could. In the realm of horror films, you could bring her back, but in real life, definitely dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
I
then
think
the police rock up. Yeah.
both
Police.
me and Andy have some name game. If you guys
Police.
up for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we explain how name game works? I mean, it is pretty simple, but you know.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a small synopsis of a film that doesn't exist, and then you have to tell us the name of it, and the name of this film will rhyme for the most part with the name of this film, Orphan. You'll get it pretty quickly. But
I know.
this first film is about a husband and wife who accidentally adopt someone who, unbeknownst to them, is actually a Power Ranger.
Morphin.
Do you know what that film's called? Morphin. Yep.
Oh my god, guys! You see, like, how am I gonna know this? Like,
Oh man,
you're
it's
just
gonna get
trolling
worse.
me.
It's
That's
only
the
gonna
easy
get-
one.
It's only gonna get worse as well.
Husband and
Good.
wife.
I mean, let me
Husband and
have
wife
them.
accidentally adopt somebody who's only pretending to be someone who eats all of their dinners, but secretly only eats small parts of their dinners and hides the rest of it or throws it away when they're not looking.
Portion.
Portion. Well done.
Poor Shan.
And last one. From me anyway. A husband and wife accidentally adopt someone pretending to be a little girl. When they reveal themselves, the husband and wife ask, why? Why did you pretend to be a little girl? The pretender says, no reason really, just... And that's the name of the film. No reason, really, just
horsing. Like horsing
Horsing.
around.
Joking.
close, yeah, but it's not that.
Joking. Just
Why would you do something that's just for a laugh? Just for...
Just for
shits and giggles. Just for...
what else doesn't rhyme? Like,
It was
oh my God.
awesome. Awesome. It was awesome.
I'm out on this one.
And none of
Okay,
these
this-
right.
This is
Okay,
cursed.
no.
What do you mean?
Close, no cigar. So it's just for fun.
For fun. Okay.
Oh, come on. Who was going to get that? Stop.
I think we got obscure yet, Luke. Oddly enough, for a film that's hard to rhyme, didn't have any of the same ones this time. So
Yeah.
a couple adopt a child, but then it turns out it's actually a legendary fictional Spanish libertine who devoted his life to seducing women.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
I'll say Casanova, but that
I'm
doesn't
going to
rhyme.
show how stupid I am.
He's Italian.
Oh, sorry.
What did you
Is
say?
it-
Spanish?
Yes.
Spanish romantic person.
Yeah.
Spanish man.
It's
I don't know.
Don Juan.
What's his name? Oh,
Don Juan.
Oh, I mean.
Stop, it doesn't even rhyme. Come on, get out of here.
It's close enough.
Get out of here.
So the next one,
Get out of it.
a young couple adopt a child who goes crazy and really basically all about an obsession she has. She loves a character developed to be killed off in the opening series of the 90s X-Men cartoon, or a brown plasticine companion of Tony Hart. So this person is a massive Morph fan. Yes.
Morph fan.
A huge Morph fan. Loves Morph.
Wow. That's
Oh,
a deep cut of
Jesus.
the X-Men cartoon.
Faced with a choice of cooking beans, a couple find out that their microwave is broken. They can fix the microwave, or their alternative,
They can.
Throw it away.
cook those beans. Microwave's broken. What's your
Oh.
alternative?
In like a pan.
Or pan,
Or
correct.
saucepan. What is it?
Or
Or
pan.
Oh.
What?
Microwave or pan.
That's the worst one.
Or pan.
That's the worst one. Or pan.
The final one will
Oh,
require a very
man.
specific set
Okay.
of knowledge. I don't expect anyone to get this, but for the folks at home, a young couple adopt a young person who they think is an old-timey French Prince Regent, but it's actually a type of ground-type Pokemon that looks like the cross between an elephant and a monster truck tire.
As soon as you said Pokemon, I was like, no idea.
Oh, between an elephant and
It's a ground type between
Completely lost.
an elephant and the.
It's a ground-type
Tire.
Pokemon that looks like a cross between an elephant and a monster truck tire.
No.
For those
I don't-
for those playing at home, it's a Don fan.
oh,
Ah.
okay. Well, never got that.
There you go.
I've got
This is
one.
going great.
Oh,
Go on,
okay,
Ben.
go on.
I've got one. I know Lucy's a football fan, so it's football themed. But
Here
you
we
know,
go.
if you were, but it's from a certain era of Premier League football. So if you don't get it, then fair enough.
Right, well, we'll see.
A married couple with a rocky past adopt a Uruguayan professional football player who plays as a striker. Was in the Premier League between 2002 and 2004, playing for Manchester United.
Oh, of course, it's fucking Man U as well. Get out of here.
Before making his name in La Liga, playing for teams such as Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, and yeah.
Mate, I have no idea. And we've gone down the Man U route. I've just clocked out
It's
mentally.
such a deep. It's an incredibly deep cut. I'm sorry. It's Forlan, as in Diego Forlan.
Okay. See, I'm only knowledgeable with like contemporary Premier League.
To be
stuff, not,
fair,
like,
he was
early
he was in the
2000s. When was
he was in
that?
he was in the Premier League for 2 years, and
That was when we were good though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies. Now I've said it out loud. I don't even know if it rhymes. So
The only other one I had left I couldn't write
You
anything
tried.
for was had a pause. It was just like Mork and Mindy. That's
Mindy.
There's going to be some description about a sitcom that had an unsuspecting pause.
I'll tell you what. Name game gets more and more chaotic every week.
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
throw one in, Lucy, if you've got anything else that rhymes with orphan, or not really.
I mean, I hadn't really prepared anything, and it's quite a difficult word to rhyme with anything, isn't it? So
It's very hard.
I
as
don't
it
think I've got
rhymes.
anything, to be honest, lads. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
If it was a more sort of normal word, I might have been able to, but you didn't prepare me for this. I wasn't ready.
normal words don't count when it comes to the name game. with
Yeah,
Andy and
but I'm
Lee.
not
They'll
as
literally
witty as you guys, evidently. So.
It's sometimes.
I mean, I can't compete with Orphan, can I? I mean, look at that. Like,
That is an A+ name game.
I hate it, but I also love it.
That's exactly the angle we're going for. I want something that people equally hate and love.
I'll think of one at like midnight. I'll have to like message you guys and be like, "Fuck, I've got one," but not right now.
Amazing.
Okay, we've got one last thing to do. We just need to quickly rate the film
Cool.
between A and F.
Rate good or rate bad?
Rate good or rate bad? Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Guests first, right?
Guests
I
first.
can.
First? Okay. Yeah. Lucy.
I mean, okay, I like this film a lot, but it's not without its flaws. So if on an A to F scale, I'd probably go for like a C. Solid C. Just decent. It passes. It's a film. It's entertaining.
It's a film.
It's silly. But it's not like a D, E, F scale where it's like bad. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's an effective horror film. It's got funny moments in it. It's, you know, some genuinely scary, jumpy moments, some kind of classical weird ass gory moments. So yeah, it's decent enough. I think obviously the central performance is great. I'm keen to see her in the sequel now as a 24-year-old, to be honest. But no, I would go with the C.
Yeah.
Just it's enjoyable, you know.
As an added bonus, Lucy, what would you give famous sex fiend John Coleman as a rating as his fathering?
Like, oh gosh, I mean, E. E, F.
E for erection. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
E for engorged.
You tried to buy her love. I mean, you tried. It didn't work.
I mean, technically, he's the one that chose that orphan. Like, this is all on him, really.
He chose her and then just fucked off, and it's like, all right then, mate. Like, come on, you chose this kid.
I should have just gone with the normal ones that was playing Tig. Be normal, John.
Yeah, don't pick the weird ones. Don't pick the siren.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, so C for me. Yeah.
Well, I liked it a little bit more than that. I would say the only thing is it's a bit long. It was like it was over 2 hours. A bit longer too. I think I think it's quite unique as well. I don't think I've seen any of the films that quite do this twist as well as this. So I'm going to go with a solid B. Yeah, I just was cool. It's an enjoyable watch overall.
Yeah.
I think I'll go with a B- because I've only seen it once before. I enjoyed it then. I enjoyed it this time around. It is like pretty batshit crazy and very, very silly, but it kind of like leans quite heavily into that, doesn't it? Like I think it knows it's silly, but it's not afraid to take it one step further at all times. And it's quite unique, you know. There's not much out there like it, is there? And it didn't like spawn a series of films that tried to like sort of recreate something similar. And even though I already knew the twist before I saw it originally, it's still like a very effective twist. I still was like, I can only imagine what it must have been like to for that twist to completely blindside somebody. So yeah, and again, as Lucy said, central performance is really good. So I go for a B- on this one.
Cool, Andy.
As for me, yeah, this is probably better than I remembered. I felt like it was a bit of a throwaway horror film. And you know me, I always enjoy that we have fun talking about them. I think it makes me think a little bit more fondly. Nothing else than you guys have said. Solid performances, a little bit silly in places. Some of those family members deserve it, and am I supposed to feel that when I'm watching the horror film? Maybe not. So maybe you mark it down slightly for that, but I think still quite enjoyable and more than I was expecting from this movie from memory alone. So meeting in the middle here, C+ from me.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. You can become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. You get some bonus content. What bonus content have we thrown up there recently, Ben?
So recently, bonus content, we did a reaction to Jordan Peele's new movie, Nope, the trailer for that movie, we did a reaction to that. And just recently, me and Andy were joined by Jem Carmella of the My Turn podcast, chatting all about Alan Wake, which was fun. That's only just gone up there, so check that out.
Lovely time chatting about Alan Wake.
Yeah, a real lovely time.
So you can listen to that over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to our current patrons, Lane Spencer, John Crinnan, Ben Scaife, Stephen Christopher, Toby Miller, Laura Kendrick, Scott Rigby, Ollie Child, and Pazuzu. Thanks to Kovac Cameron for B Music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review. Thanks to my co-host Ben and Andy for being right her dudes, but also a big, massive thank you to Lucy for joining us. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Oh,
Lucy.
thank you.
While we're
Yeah,
here,
Lucy.
where do we find you and your stuff before we go?
Yes, of course. So mainly Twitter. I chat a lot of rubbish over on Twitter. So I'm just at Lucy Jade Buglass on Twitter, or my podcast is at TV Time Pod, T spelt like the drink. And you can find me chatting shit on there as well. At the moment, we're back on it. We've got a new episode coming out about Buffy Vampire Slayer, which I'm very excited about, coming up next week.
Awesome.
And then we're gonna crack on. So yeah, I'm back on it, thankfully. I've been gone for like 6 months. It's been crazy. Yeah.
Good to have you back.
I know. I mean, you guys seem to be like on it with your podcast. I need to kind of, do what you guys do, basically.
We just got into a nice rhythm, haven't we? That's all.
That's what you guys do.
We
We turn
will
up every
link.
week.
We turn up every week, even if no one else does. We will link to all of your stuff in the show notes as well, Lucy. So if you're listening, just go and check out the show notes, and we'll link to the podcasts and other things there.
Cool.
Nice one.
That's fun.
That was fun.
That's February. We'll see you next month for another.
Yeah.
It's a 5 Wednesday month, guys. We were talking about earlier. So 5
Jesus.
delightful other episodes.
Yep, we'll be putting out the schedule for that very soon, but we've already discussed what we're going to do, and looks like it's going to be fun.
What a bonanza you got coming up.
What a bonanza. Oh, yes.
Cool. That's one.
Nice
guys.
one.
See
Talk to
you
you later.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.